It's the N-Wheel Time Car Talk Show, live from the Sugar Shack World Headquarters. Just ahead, supercar builder Steve Saleen. Jeff has a segment on real vintage car ads. Conrad has the racing calendar. We're also going to get This Week in Auto History from him. Later, we discuss the stories making automotive news headlines. We've got the third hour of our show underway on the N-Wheel Time Car Talk Network. Howdy, along with Mike, Out of This World Mars, King Conrad DeLong. We need more Jeff Zekin. I'm Don Armstrong. Glad that you could join us today. And also joining us today, and we welcome to the show, Mr. Steve Saleen, CEO and founder of Saleen Performance Parts. Steve, good morning to you.
Good morning. How things in Texas?
Well, it's hot. It's real hot here. Yeah. How are things out in California?
It's 72 degrees and the surface up, so we're okay.
Steve, I met you many years ago when the Texas Auto Writers Association was taking a tour, a preview of the Dallas Auto Show, and you had one of your legendary cars there, and it was a pleasure to talk to you, and you were most gracious to all of us because we bombarded you with all these stupid questions, but you answered them like the champ that you are. We appreciate that, and it's great to be with you this morning. How are things with Saleen Automotive?
Well, this actually is a pretty exciting year for us. It's our 40th anniversary. If you can believe that it's 40 years since we introduced the Saleen Mustang to the automotive world, and it's a little known fact is that with the exception of the Ford Mustang itself and the Chevrolet Corvette, the Saleen Mustang is the longest continuing nameplate in North America that's been sold.
Wow. That is very impressive. You know, personally, Steve, I have to tell you, I kind of put you up there in the upper reaches, if you will, of celebrity auto builders, right up there with Carroll Shelby. I think the world of your work and your racing ability and all of the things that you've done.
And I certainly appreciate that. This marks my 50th year of racing, in the respect that back in 1973, I entered and won my first race. And just this past weekend, I won my first race in our new S1 supercar, which actually I think puts us in kind of rare company here on designing your own car with Bruce McLaren, Dan Gurney, and even Jim Hall in winning a race in the car. But I'm not sure if anyone's actually won it in their production version. So it certainly was exciting to win last weekend. So obviously I'm still racing and having fun and building the next generation of supercars.
Well, congratulations, first of all, because I mean, that's something to be said, because you and I are pretty much close to the same age, and certainly respect you for all of that. Tell me about the car that you raced.
Well, it's we introduced it a few years ago, right as the coronavirus was breaking out, and we had to put it on pause. But we're building a new ground-up Saleen S1 supercar. It's a little bit different than our all-conquering Saleen S7 that we introduced 25 years ago, but it is still a supercar. It's all aluminum chassis. It's a carbon fiber body. It's our own design engine. It's a 4-cylinder with our own casting. It's a very unique casting that we're doing on a single turbo, and it produces 450 horsepower, but the car only weighs 2,600 pounds. So the power to weight ratio puts us into a supercar category, and all of this we're looking at bringing the retail value of this car for about $125,000.
I'm in. We're in, yeah.
That's a steal for that kind of performance.
And listen, and we'll be the first to line up to test drive that for you and do a review for you if you don't mind.
You will like it, and then we've already proven it over the last several years on the racetrack, because we have won against all makes, whether it's Ferrari, Porsche, Lamborghini, McLaren, or whatever. And then just this past weekend, I won up in Seattle at that race. And so it's a pretty exciting car, and we're very excited to bring it to market here in the real near future.
Well, and I assume that you're building it out there where you live in Inglewood?
Yeah, we're actually, our offices are, we have 4 acres in Southern California. It's actually in Corona. I joke about the fact that we started the coronavirus there. But, but aside from that, yes, we are in the process of putting together the production aspect of the car altogether.
Well, I imagine with your reputation, you've got a waiting list already for the first run of the production, I would assume.
Yes, it's been, unfortunately, like I said, because of the coronavirus, it's been a little bit longer period of time, but we do have a pretty good waiting list, and we're really anxious, I think, to get it, and people are really anxious to get us into production with it.
Well, I don't even know what to ask about the car. Does it have an automatic transmission? Does it have a manual transmission? Tell me a little bit more.
It is. We're starting with this is a driver's car. We have built it for people that really want to drive, enjoy driving, a lot of fun. So we're actually starting with a 6-speed manual, and
thank you.
Again, we have a very unique transmission, but it's a 6-speed manual. It's very much of a driver's car. However, we are making it to where you can drive it on a daily basis. I can tell you that the air conditioning works really well in it. It is easy to shift. You can be stuck in traffic on the freeway and be very comfortable. And we have similar with the that everyone's gone to is your flat screen that really operates a lot of the functions, and you can listen to a good sound system and go through all of the new electronic that is almost every car today now has.
And you race it in the, I think it's a GT4 category. Is that correct?
Yes.
So your competitors are pretty high level cars, and glad to hear of your success. Is the production one going to be relatively similar as far as content and performance?
Yes. Yeah. The one thing that I've always done that's maybe a little unusual, and it started back with the Saleen versions of the Mustang, is we've used production vehicles and actually go professional racing with them. And we do that so it improves the breed, so to speak. And it's been very well. We started, in the 80s with the Saleen Mustang, where we won our championships. I even did it with our race trucks and those type of vehicles. And then when we introduced at the 2000, when we introduced the Saleen S7 street car, we went racing with that. So almost the race car and the production car are almost identical in every single way.
Wow.
Are you still modifying Mustangs?
Yes, we have. We're continuing. Earlier this year, we showed our 40th anniversary Mustang, which was we do 10 special edition Mustangs every 5 years, and this one was a Speed Lab yellow with a convertible with a very unique a tonneau cover that we've designed for it that gives it a very upscale and a unique appearance and the functionality of that. And then we have teased the world on showing the latest generation of the new Mustang that Ford is producing here. That'll be out in hopefully sometime later this month, but at least during the summer, we will have the next generation of Saleen Mustang that we're producing as well.
So how does that work? Does Ford send you the Mustangs to be altered?
Yes, we have our own code system since the beginning of time, back in 1984, in the Ford system. And the Ford dealer will order the vehicle, and then put in our code system. The cars get built in Detroit, and then they're sent directly to us in Southern California, where we would then revamp them in 3 different flavors. We have good, better, best, what we call a white label, yellow label, and black label. And then we then will ship it in closed carrier to the ordering Ford dealer around the country, operating for sale to the general public. And the versions that we do is the white label, they all get different aerodynamics, different suspension, different interiors, and different powertrains. And the white label has started at 500 horsepower. And I know Ford has the new Dark Horse coming out, but we've actually had a little over 500 here for the last 6 or 7 years as standard. And so the new version will even be higher than 500 as our base vehicle. And the pricing, and then from 500, we go to 750 as a supercharged version. And then our top of the line black label is over 800 horsepower.
Wow.
And the only thing that we retain from Ford on that literally is the doors and the quarter panel. Everything else and the window glass stays the same, but everything else has been changed on it. That we've done extensive wind tunnel testing, racing development, CFD, and everything that we engineer, we do with purpose to actually improve the overall performance of the vehicle.
So even on this latest generation of vehicles, because I know that one of the histories of the Saleen cars is generally there's a number associated with that car. Are they all going to be numbered as well?
Yes, we have. We've actually produced over the years. We've produced pretty close to 30,000.
Wow.
Saleen Mustangs. It's kind of amazing what's actually happened here in the world of Bring a Trailer or the auction houses. Is that just last month we had one of our 1985 Saleen Mustangs, a regular Saleen Mustang that retailed at the time, I think between 15,000 and 17,000, went through the auction house at $250,000.
Holy cow!
And all of them have been numbered. We number it in the engine compartment, in the interior, and also the front bumper, left-hand side, driver's side. There'll be a number on this, and so that way you know it's an authentic Saleen, which is what's helped, I think, keep up the resale value. I will put a caveat, though, is that we've never done a number 6. And the reason why is when I started the company, my wife was doing a lot of the bookkeeping. And as we were building the volume for the first year, she was numbering it, and she numbered it 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 7, 8, 9. We didn't discover it until we were like 200, 300 cars into it that we somehow missed and skipped number 6. And so we haven't. I said, you know what? We'll just never build a number 6. We built a 66, 666, and 6666 in the past, but never a number 6.
Oh,
Wow.
cool.
That is
And though you're widely known as a Mustang guy, you've dallied off into some other brands as well as some other Ford vehicles. I know you've done some of the Broncos. Now, are you doing the new generation Bronco as well?
Yes, we are in development of it. We haven't shown that yet, but I think we'll have 2 versions of that. We also are doing 2 versions of the truck. We have what we call a sport truck and an off-road version. The sport truck has complete different suspension, different aerodynamics. We add a supercharger to it to get you up to 700 horsepower, and it really is a very dramatic. And then opposite, we raise the truck up 4 or 6 inches depending on the model, and put 35, 37-inch tires on it for more of your off-road racing. They all get different body treatment and, again, different interior. And one of the things that, as you mentioned, that we've done a lot of things in the past and continue to do that. A lot of people don't know that after we did our own supercar, the S7, is that we then had the opportunity. Ford came to me, and we did all of the final design work, the certification, and the complete build and assembly and shipping of the Ford GT. The 2005, 2006 was all built by a facility that I put together in the Detroit area, and we did that as private label and shipped that to all of the Ford dealers around the country. And then after that program, I picked up and at the same facility, and we did the subassembly and the build for the Dodge Viper. So from my standpoint, any supercar that's been built in America has actually been built by us. Now, we can say that the new Ford supercar is certainly a great car and nothing to be talked down on that. However, it's actually built in Canada. So therefore, I think that we really are a little bit more American oriented.
We love it. And I also see that that Saleen is building their version of a Tesla.
Yes. Back in, we recognize, and the one thing that I guess maybe is a little bit different about us is that we have, I always look a little bit more towards the future. And in doing that, back in 2013 and 2014, we were recognizing that electric vehicles are really coming to stay. And we then started working on the Tesla and doing very similar, a different body, but again, all built from an aerodynamic efficiency and what we do on the body, a different suspension. We put carbon brakes on it, completely changed the interior to make it much more of a driver's car. And even initially back there, the we made it go faster in the respect that we changed the final drive ratio. So it, as people know, electric cars accelerate because of the torque, and the all-wheel driving accelerate very fast. But we made it a little bit faster by putting a different gear ratio in it, so you would accelerate that much quicker. And then we can actually add sound to it by the way that we cut the gears. It'll put a little bit of a whine to it. So people that want to have some sound with their electric car, it sounds like a little mini Formula One cars in person. You can have fun doing that as well.
Wow.
Absolutely brilliant. Steve, it's great to talk to you, to have you on the show today. It's Saleen, SALEEN.com. And I know that our viewers and our listeners on all of our different platforms really have enjoyed the interview with you today. And we sure appreciate you taking the time with us and explaining what all Saleen is up to these days. And we wish you the best of luck. And don't forget your Whittier High School reunion coming up.
That is true. And the alumni, I was inducted in their Hall of Fame a few years ago, and I joined Richard Nixon back as he went to Whittier High as well. And the other thing, because you guys are in Texas, we actually have our parts division is in Austin, Texas, that my daughter Molly runs. So we're actually in Texas quite a bit now these days. Mostly in the Austin area, but so if you get a chance, or some of your listeners are local on that, we certainly invite them to come over talk cars.
Has she sent you a Keep Austin Weird T-shirt? That's what I want to know.
Okay, all right.
Steve, again, thank you so much. We appreciate you, sir.
Well, thank you. Thanks for having me on. It was great talking to you guys.
Thank you.
Thank you. What a great history.
Wow.
You know, what a great history. I learned a lot listening to him. I didn't realize his involvement in the 2000 generation Ford GT, which is definitely an investment grade vehicle. You know, you look at some of those now that are going through auction at, $250,000, $500,000 each. And I didn't realize his involvement in the Viper build as well.
I was impressed. He's gone into these supercars and he's got all these things going on, but he's still tied into the Mustangs, all the things he started with, and he knows all the
You
details.
see this smile on my face? I want to be him.
Yeah.
That's what I want.
We need a remote from one of his facilities.
Yeah,
That'd be great.
definitely. Hello, Austin.
Yeah.
Just saying.
Contact Molly.
NWL Time Race Card is sponsored by Texas Nostalgia Modified Production, and Conrad always has that for us.
Yep. So NHRA next weekend is the Mile High Nationals in Bandimere.
The
Don?
last one.
Is that that's the final because they're closing Bandimere. Are you in the Mile High Club, Don?
I am in the Mile High Club.
Because you went there when you were doing Top Fuel.
Well, yes, that Mile High Club, not other ones that some people may be thinking of. That's not the case.
And then July 21st, they're at Seattle. July 28th, they're in Sonoma. And then so that's 3 weeks straight on the Western Swing.
Yeah.
Pretty arduous race schedule.
Yeah.
And then August 11th, they're going to be in Kansas. Now, NASCAR, you said, is in Atlanta
This
tomorrow.
weekend, yeah.
They're in New Hampshire next weekend and Pocono the weekend after
New
that.
Hampshire.
New Hampshire. And that's where they win the big lobster.
Okay.
LOBSTA, lobster.
I got it.
And then Formula One, 2 weekends from now is the Hungarian Grand Prix at the Hungaroring. IMSA is at Lime Rock on the 22nd of July. IndyCar next weekend's in Toronto. The following weekend is in Iowa. And then back to you, Don.
All right. Well, thank you very much, Conrad. All right. Time now for Jeff's feature this week, and that's going to be the real vintage car ads as
Okay.
opposed to the fake ones.
Yeah. Now hold your applause till we're done with this, everyone.
All right.
It's going to be really good.
All right.
We are men of applause.
Vintage car ads are a fascinating glimpse into the car advertising past. They offer a unique charm and humor, which is seriously lacking in today's modern ads. Car companies today can learn a lot from the folks that designed them in the past. And here we go. This first one,
I think we need to press the.
We do.
There you go.
this first
Thank
one
you.
is called Gremlin's Anatomy. When you hear the word gremlin, what comes to mind first is a mischievous folklore creature known for causing mishaps. Well, this is not that gremlin, but the name of the car was produced by American Motors Corporation. This is a humorous ad for the time period. Not only did it emphasize the car's qualities, but it made sure that there was to educate the people on where to sit and where to keep their pets. Now, if you look in the lower right corner, it does say, buckle up for safety in the bottom right. So this was one of those first time, safeties first. This one I pulled up from the Neaterville Gazette. This is actually for our two-wheel guys. Harley Davidson is a motorcycle company that's been in business since 1903. It's dominated the American motorcycle scene. Harley has the most eye-catching ads, and this one is a 2003 Harley Davidson. It's an FX DWG3, 16,000 miles on it. It's a nice bike. It's fast. It's pretty. Features custom grips. Great ride. Girlfriend pregnant. Wife knows. Must sell. Lawyer wants money.
That was from the Neaterville Gazette.
Neaterville Gazette. That's what I'm
Yep.
thinking.
Okay.
This one, we all needed one of these back in the day. Sleep before anything. Napping in cars can be uncomfortable, but Nash Motor Company had the perfect solution back in the day. In the ad, their cars came up with sleeping chairs that could be easily reclined for a better sleep experience.
Ron Stein's got one of these.
This ad was a hit back then and must have sold numerous units. We know that they're wondering about the seatbelts. They weren't required until 1968, so no children were launched in the air when they stepped on the brakes. Can you imagine going to a drive-in with one of these?
Yeah,
Wouldn't that be
baby.
great?
Yeah.
That's what I'm thinking.
What does Ron say? A father's nightmare about his car?
Mm-hmm. This one is for both genders. There are two. Although it's clever marketing strategy on Hearst's part, his and hers touches a sensitive nerve in the heart of consumers, especially young couples. The ad tries its best to include both genders in his campaign. His signifies that it has something outstanding performance-related features, which means typically for a guy, and hers means that she can drive it comfortably thanks to the automatic transmission.
Yeah, the his and hers was branded by Pontiac in their what's called a dual gate shifter.
Right.
Oldsmobile had a Hearst dual gate shifter as well, but they called it a dual gate.
Okay, this one is this is from Mike. Size isn't important. The advertisement was originally for a minivan, a vehicle that remains popular today, and true, its name is Mini. To be happy, you don't need to have the biggest things. Size isn't the measurement of satisfaction. Sometimes big things do come in small packages. Okay. Now, this last one, I'm just going to let you read it because this is an actual ad. So if you have a small penis, if I got a car for you. This is from Joe's Porsche. If you're going to overcompensate, then by all means overcompensate. This is a Carrera 4. It's loaded up, $89,911. Call 312-552-1676. And ask for who, Mike? Ask for Tiny.
I'm paying attention. Nobody else is, but I am.
Well, and there you go. Now, there's like thousands of these things out there, so you can go and have fun, look at these, and laugh. That's what I did. It was good.
Well, that was excellent. I particularly like the motorcycle ad. The guy was
From
selling
the Neederville Gazette.
Neederville Gazette, selling his whatever.
Girlfriend pregnant, wife knows, need money for attorney.
For the lawyer, yeah.
All right. Coming up, we hope to have John Heinrichsey, racer engineer, and latest challenges in SCCA National Championship in a Cadillac CT4V Blackwing. Now, I don't know whether you can see this or not. Can stand up just a little bit. Look what he's wearing today. He's wearing his famous Cadillac
Racing shirt.
Uh-huh.
It took me over a year to find the shirt.
What?
And remember when we did the broadcast in Houston when they did all the racing and all that?
Yeah.
It was probably 14, 15 months later I finally found the shirt because this is what they were wearing out there in the paddock. And I got my hat right here, too. Got the hat.
There you go. Well, we'll have to be sure and show
And
him.
he's got his V-Series symbol on the back of his.
Oh, yeah. That's all about it.
Hey, the
back
In Wheel
of his
Time Car Talk
SRX.
Show is available 24/7 through the iHeartRadio app. Just look for In Wheel Time Car Talk. We also video stream on Facebook, YouTube, and InWheelTime.com. Podcasts at your fingertips on over a dozen of the most popular podcast outlets. Hey, the In Wheel Time Car Talk Show continues right after this quick break. You own a car you love. Well, why not let Gulf Coast Auto Shield protect it? Houstonian John Gray invites you to his state-of-the-art facility to introduce you to his specialist team of auto enthusiasts. We promise you'll be impressed. Whether you're looking to massage your original paint to a like-new appearance, apply a ceramic coating, install a paint protection film, nano-ceramic window tint, or new windshield protection called ExoShield, Gulf Coast Auto Shield is where Houston's car people go. Curbed your wheels? Instead of buying new, why not have them repaired? How about a professionally installed radar detector? Gulf Coast Auto Shield does that too. Get a peek inside the shop and look at the services offered by getting online and heading to gcautoshield.com. Better yet, stop by their facility at 11275 South Sam Houston Tollway, just south of the Southwest Freeway, and get a personal tour. Gulf Coast Auto Shield is your place to go for all things exterior. Call them today, 832-930-5655 or gcautoshield.com. The original group of Lupi Tortilla restaurants will have you telling your family and friends just what the original recipes mean when it comes to the best fajitas in Southeast Texas. Founder Stan Holt invites you to visit the original Lupi Tortilla near I-10 and Highway 6. Here's the original house that inspired the design of all the rest and the original charm that helped make Lupi Tortilla the go-to destination for Houston Tex-Mex. Speaking of original, nothing can compete with the original lime pepper marinade that everyone will agree makes Lupi Tortilla award-winning beef fajitas the best anywhere. Lupi Tortilla Katy is another location that gives you the same quality and service Houstonians have come to expect at Lupi's. It's located just off I-10 and the Grand Parkway at Kingsland Boulevard in Katy. Find yourself in Aggie Land? Head to the Lupi Tortilla in College Station, located just around the corner from Kyle Field. It's a great place to enjoy those famous frozen margaritas before or after the game. Headed east to Louisiana? Stop in at the Lupi Tortilla in Beaumont. It too's on I-10. You can't miss it. The original group of Lupi Tortilla restaurants invites you in for the best Tex-Mex anywhere. The In Wheel Time Car Talk Show is now part of the iHeart family. Now you'll have access to 24/7 Car Talk anytime you need a fix. Just download the iHeartRadio app and ask for In Wheel Time Car Talk, and there we are. Be sure to save us in your iHeart library for instant access. No matter where you are, you have the best car talk show right on your PC, laptop, or mobile device and never have to worry about finding us again. Of course, you can always get access to our video and audio streams via InWheelTime.com and your favorite podcast channel, and all of this is free to you. From the iHeartRadio app, you'll not only hear our Saturday morning live show, but the best shows of the past, updated weekly. Never miss a minute of up-to-date new car reviews, pre-owned reviews, Conrad's Car Clinic, informative interviews, automotive news, and the most fun car talk show on the planet. Just download the iHeartRadio app, search for In Wheel Time Car Talk, save it to your library, and with a tap of the icon, you'll be in touch with your favorite car talk team. In Wheel Time Car Talk, streaming now on iHeart.com/InWheelTimeCarTalk. Live from Studio A, it's the In Wheel Time Car Talk Show. Coming up, Chief Instructor at the Radford Racing School, Danny Bullock, joins us. We're going to talk about racing. We're going to talk about Dodge SRT. It's going to be good. Conrad's going to have the In Wheel Time Car Clinic. What are we talking about today?
Cold air intakes.
Cold air intakes. And I'll bring you this week's automotive news. Howdy, along with David Ainsley, filling in for the COVID-infested Mike Mars. Infested. We have King Conrad DeLong. We always need more Jeff Zekin. I'm Don Armstrong. Thanks for joining us today. Well, here he is, and everybody here says, man, that guy looks familiar, because we're looking at him on the Zoom. His name is Danny Bullock. He's the chief instructor at the Radford Racing School, an official Dodge SRT experience school. Danny, have you been on with us before?
Hey, good morning, gang. This is my first time with you folks. We've done a bunch of different interviews with people all over the country, but I think this is my first time with you folks.
Perfect.
Well,
that's good. Yeah. Well, you look familiar. Yeah. And I'm sure it was in jail last time I saw you. I think. But anyway, hey, it's great to have you with us today. Thank you so much. Give us a brief overview of Radford Racing School. When did it start? What's it for?
So the Radford Racing School, we were founded back in 1968. We were a previously named school before that. Bob Bondurant started the school back then, and a Bondurant name.
Yep.
And so we had a change of ownership in 2019. A brand new group of people came in and bought the school. Amazingly enough, several of those partners were former students of the school before they came and bought it. And when they came in, they really wanted to carry on this legacy that the school has been known for.
Yep.
And so they wanted to be a part of it. And they obviously had a good enough time with us that they said, hey, you know what? We want to have a piece of this. We want to be a part of the growth of this company. And
as being a part of it, we want to come out there and race for free anytime we want to.
That might be a side benefit for sure.
Yeah, no doubt.
Yeah, so we see them out here on a regular basis. They're always out here with different events that are going on here. Some of the sponsor events that we have here with Dodge or the team from SRT. We also have a partnership with the Gary Sinise Foundation, and so we see them out here several times a year, and so they're here with that event as well. And anytime we have any sponsor events, when it's Power Stop Brakes or Shell Gasoline, Pennzoil Fluids, the Goodyear Tire Company, whenever they come out here, the ownership team likes to be a part of that and say hi, because this is a very special place to all of us, and they like coming out and having that face-to-face time with those folks that help support the school.
Now you're out there at Wild Horse Pass Motorsports Park, correct?
Yep, Chandler, Arizona.
Yeah, which is outside of Phoenix.
Yeah, we're just 18 minutes south of the airport. It's actually a very quick drive. It's a fantastic, easy ride right down the I-10 to our place here. And
a 12-turn, 1.1-mile track course.
Yeah, we have a 12-turn, 1.1-mile course, which can be expanded into 1.6 miles and 15 turns, depending on the configuration that we have. And so we've done a lot of improvements on that track. In June of 2020, while things were kind of on that shutdown area, they said, hey, you know what? This would be a great time to do some good improvements. So we went and demolished the track and repaved it, did a bunch of improvements there. We did a bunch of seal coating. We did some remodeling in the buildings. It was a great opportunity to catch up on those things that the new ownership wanted to do, and they thought it might be a little farther down the road. But then when 2020 happened, they said, hey, you know what? This is a great opportunity. Let's take this window of time to put into effect all those things we want to do, all those projects, so that when we start opening up again, we're full bore.
And you also have a drag strip there. Now, is NHRA, the Pro Tour, still going through there?
So 2023 was supposed to be the last year of NHRA coming down the Wild Horse Pass. That may or may not change. We are working on that right now as we speak, and there's nothing in concrete just yet. But we've been talking with them, and they want to put something on the calendar. So I think it's going to happen. I just can't say for sure.
Yeah. Well, we're keeping our fingers crossed, because I know that Phoenix, that track out there, it was always on the circuit early on in the season. And there's testing out there all the time. I mean, it's a very active place. If you're into any kind of motorsports, that's the place.
Yep.
Okay, so let's talk about the connection with Dodge and SRT.
Yes. So we started our relationship with the team from SRT back in 2016. When we first partnered with them, we had a fleet of Dodge Vipers here. We had 8 ACR Vipers and 32 Viper GTs with the TA 2.0 package on them. They were phenomenal cars. I mean, just great cars. And then we also, alongside of them, we had the Hellcat Challenger, the Hellcat Charger. We had a whole fleet of different SRT vehicles that we could utilize here at the school. 2 years into the program, we know the Viper was going away. And so they said, we're not going to support the Viper anymore because we're discontinuing it. And so we said, okay, well, look, we got all these Hellcats around here that work awesome. Why don't we just replace those Vipers with those Hellcats and use those as that main vehicle? And we've been using them ever since. I think we've given them some feedback that may have influenced the team to develop the wide body now with the bigger tires underneath it.
Yep.
And that's what we use. Basically, everything here is wide-bodied Challenger or wide-bodied Charger. And I got to tell you, these things work fantastic. Dodge will always say, hey, we tout this as our muscle car. But when you see what they do on the track here, you'd be amazed. You would not believe the performance that this car can put going through a corner as well as going down a straight line. And so we utilize 85 SRT vehicles here at the school for everything from our defensive driving courses all the way up to the advanced road racing class for drivers who have prior race experience and are looking to brush up before their next competition. And then also I'll use those vehicles on the drag strip. We have 5 of the original 2018 Dodge SRT Demons. We've got some new Dodge Demon 170s on order. And when they come here, we're going to be promoting a new class for that car and for the owners of that vehicle. That vehicle is just phenomenal specs, over 1,000 horsepower. I mean, these things come with a parachute. Anybody who takes a class with that car, they're going to be wowed by what that vehicle could do down the drag strip. So we're excited to see that come here pretty soon.
But don't you guys also have an agreement or an understanding or some sort of a deal where you buy an SRT Dodge? You're one of those tracks that hey, come on out here. Let us show you how to drive your new car.
Absolutely. So the partnership with SRT, the whole purpose behind it for them is that they want drivers to have a little bit more wherewithal and car control knowledge before they start driving these cars on the streets and getting themselves in trouble, right? Because there's so much horsepower, so much torque. And so if you buy an SRT branded vehicle from Dodge, it automatically comes with a free 1-day SRT owners experience program that's already part of the sale. So you buy the car and then you go through a little ownership verification process. Once that's done, we can put you on the calendar, and we have these programs 1 to 2 times a month. And it's a fantastic program. It's kind of a mix of inciting more enthusiasm for the SRT brand, and giving you good, safe car driving skills for when you're out there trying to survive on the streets. And the camaraderie between owners here, I mean, we get upwards of 50 to 80 drivers in a program, and they get here and they look around, they're like, oh my gosh, this is awesome. And it's automatically a brotherhood amongst everybody in that room, because they all have the same enthusiasm for the brand, and they start talking about what they've done to their car, what they want to do to their car, and oh, you live in that area, I'm just an hour away, we got to get together. And it's just, I mean, it's about an hour's worth of them just mingling and bonding together before we even start class. And then we get into the program, and by the time we're done, these folks are so ramped up. It's an amazing time, not only for them, but for those of us that are teaching it too.
So I'm just using this as a let's just say that I bought a brand, not brand new, but an SRT that's, let's say, got
slightly used.
15,000 miles on it, and I want to come to the school. Now that's going to cost me to go to that school, correct?
Yeah, it's going to cost you if the original owner did not take advantage of the program. You have to be the owner. You have to be the original owner to do that. So yeah, if you're a second owner, you'll have to pay for the program.
How much does that cost?
It's $14.99 for the day.
$1,500 for the school for the day. Boy, that's chump change for
not
me.
bad.
Yeah, I mean, I'd save up my money for a year to do that.
Some of your instructors are professional drivers, correct?
Yes, a lot of us either formerly raced or we are currently racing right now. I've got a few of them that are racing right now in the Road Racing Series SRO, and one of them was running in IMSA for a while. A couple of us ran together in the Grand Am Series years ago. That's where I ran my pro series, was Grand Am back in the day. And I also used to road race motorcycles in the Championship Cup Series for 5 years, a phenomenal time there. Everybody here, all the instructors have some kind of race experience, and that's really what helps mold them into it's one piece that helps make them a good instructor.
I want to know about some sort of a go-kart. Do you have a go-kart track there?
Yes, yeah, we've got.
You said that like, yes, we do.
It's a 0.9 mile little road course for karts, and we have some really cool. They're gas go-karts. They're one speed. They're awesome for like the group programs, because you can get a bunch of people in. It's just a gas pedal and a brake. We pull start these things, and people go out and start driving. And we're also looking at expanding that kart program to have some purpose-built race karts, like a shifter kart, or something similar. If you've never driven a shifter kart, these things have a 125cc two-stroke dirt bike engine basically attached to the back axle, and it also comes with that 6-speed transmission that comes on that dirt bike. These things are capable of going from 0 to 100 miles an hour in about 6 seconds, and we are looking at possibly bringing those down here again. We used to have them a long time ago, and we're now developing plans to see if we can get them out here again.
That is so much fun. All right, so I've got a 16-year-old daughter. I want to put her in a driving school. I don't know what to do. They've got some around here, but I've heard of Radford / Bondurant, and we've got, Aunt Mary that lives out there in Phoenix. We're going to come visit her. Do you have something for the 16-year-old to learn how to drive?
We absolutely do. If you have a driver who's newer to being behind the wheel, we have a 1, 2, or 3-day advanced teen driving course. Now, we call it the advanced teen driving course because we don't teach them how to drive. We teach them how to drive better. We want them to have a little bit of wheel time before they get here to the class, because we want them to have good wherewithal with the vehicle.
Right.
And then what we do is we give them these survival skills that you would look at. If you came and watched the class for even just a couple hours, you go, my gosh, why didn't they teach us this when we first got our licenses? This should be mandatory. And so we teach them evasive maneuvers, how to avoid an accident that happens in front of them. We teach them basic vision skills, which you would think, well, what's big about vision? Most people don't look far enough ahead. So it's one of those big foundations that we start with. We also get every teen class into the skid car, the most valuable vehicle we've got here to teach with. And when you get in that car, what we are able to do is we have these hydraulic rams on these. They kind of look like training wheels.
I've seen it. Yes.
Wow. Yes. And so you can raise the back end or the front end up to reduce the grip and make it feel like they're driving on snow or ice, and they learn that very quickly. It's such a phenomenal teaching tool.
And, Jeff's got a granddaughter that just started driving this past year, and she drives grandma's car. She doesn't have a car of her own yet, but she's getting there. I'm thinking, okay, well, now here is a real Christmas present.
Absolutely. This is the best thing you could do for your child who's driving or grandchild that's driving. You get them something like this as a birthday gift or a Christmas gift. And believe me, it is not like any other driving school you would think of. When teens think of going to driving school, they think, oh, I'm going to be in a classroom with a teacher in front of me the whole day. And when we see them here, we come in the morning and their heads are slumped in their arms going, oh boy, this will be boring. And when we're out of that classroom after about a half hour of talking and we go out and start driving and their eyes just light up and they're like, wow, I never knew about this. This is so much fun. What do we do next? And the excitement just ramps up from there. It's very satisfying actually to see it, because that means they're into it. And what we all as driving enthusiasts want is we want the next generation to be enthusiastic about driving too. My daughter is, I've got 3 daughters. One's 21 now. And at first she wasn't really that much into driving. We did some kart racing a little bit in the beginning when she was a young teenager. And then when it came to getting her license, she didn't seem into it too much. And then when she finally did get it, all she wanted to do was drive. That's all she wanted to do. Oh, you need something from the store? I'll get it, Mom. And so now she is an enthusiast. And I think we all try to garner that in our kids and hopefully keep this love of automobiles and driving alive.
So is there an age limit?
We asked that. Yeah, we asked that they are at least 16 years old and have had some driving experience for at least 6 months on the road. Now, I have seen us take drivers that were a little younger, maybe didn't have as much seat time, or maybe didn't have their license for as long, or maybe they had their permit. And so, but they've grown up driving trucks on the farm. They drove side-by-sides or quads. And we look at that and say, hey, look, it looks like this driver, they already kind of know how to handle a vehicle a little bit. We can still take them on as well, but we definitely want them to have some seat time under their belt first.
Yeah. Could you also offer counseling for Don's older daughters who didn't realize they had a 16-year-old sister?
Hey. Yeah.
I don't know if I can contribute to that or not.
Yeah, exactly. Well, you don't have to. It's all right. I've already been relegated to the back seat anyway, so no worries there. All right. So where do we find out all of the things that Radford Racing School has got to offer?
You can go online to www.radfordracingschool.com. We're also on Instagram. We're on Facebook, Radford Racing School. You can find us everywhere online. And if you're in the area, stop down and see us. We're right down the street, right just 18 minutes out of town, downtown Phoenix. So if you find yourself visiting the Phoenix area or have some family, stop on down here. We're at Wild Horse Pass Boulevard. It's called gate number 3. There's 4 gates to the race facility. We're down gate number 3. You'll come down and see all the Chargers and Challengers all brightly colored, and you'll know you're in the right spot.
Well, let me just say this. I know that the Bob Bondurant School is no more, but it really is, because he was the one that really started this. And I remember back years and years and years ago, the Bob Bondurant School of Driving or Racing, whatever it was. But that's the one name that stands out to me. And, there's got to be a sense of pride that this is the new version of that, because he was the guy that really brought it all together.
The evolution of it.
Yeah.
You're absolutely right. We're all very proud to be here and be working for the Radford Racing School. A lot of us started our careers under Bob. I took my first racing lesson with Bob when I was 14 years old, and then I came out to Phoenix to start working for him about a dozen years later, and I've now been at the school a little over 25 years.
Wow.
Well, congratulations to you. It looks like a ton of fun, great information, and a good vacation, that's for sure.
You bet.
Absolutely. Come on out and see us, gang. We'll see you soon.
Danny, thanks again. We'll talk to you again soon. Danny Bullock, Chief Instructor at Radford Racing School, official Dodge SRT experience kind of school. All right, let's move on, get to Conrad's Car Clinic now, shall we?
So, we're going to talk today about cold air intakes. We've been talking about engines as air pumps and how they work. Many of factory production cars had cold air intakes. One of the original ones was this one, which was on the Z11 409 in the Chevy Impala.
She's real fine, my 409.
Well, they actually pulled the cold air from the base of the windshield, the cowl intake, and that's a factory air intake on that. So, and then the evolution of it as it went through years, that one was 63. Here's a 66 cold air intake, and those big tubes that are coming out of the side, that's on an Oldsmobile W30.
Of course it is.
Tri-Power, that's got 3 2-barrel carburetors.
Nice.
And those big tubes actually went to scoops that were mounted under the front bumper. And that's what brought the cold air in. That intake, that air cleaner right there is probably about a $3,000 air cleaner today. So if anybody's got one in their trunk, keep it. And then they evolved.
Or on their engine.
Yeah, this is a 68 and 69, the W31.
I love the gold engine.
Well, the gold at Oldsmobile meant it was a 350. Oldsmobile 455s were blue, the 425s were red, and the 400 was a bronze color. So when you pop the hood of an Oldsmobile, if the engine's still the original color, visually you should be able to tell what size engine is in it.
Interesting.
And then they went from that in 68 and 69, and in 70 they offered this. Now this is what fits underneath those 2 big snorkel hood scoops. And if you look right in the center of that, there's kind of like a little butterfly flap that has a vacuum hose going to it. When the engine would go wide open throttle, that vacuum hose would lose its vacuum, and that flap would open up and would allow the hood scoops to ram air into the intake manifold. Pretty cool operation. And that's what's on my Rally 350. And then Pontiac also did it with their Ram Air 3 and Ram Air 4s through the hood scoops that dumped right into the intake manifold. But it wasn't just the performance cars. Even some of the everyday stuff would have cold air intakes on them from the factory. This next one is off of a Chevrolet pickup truck from the 90s. And instead of going to the cowl of the windshield, they just collected air from behind the headlight out of the fender area because they didn't want that hot air in the engine compartment to get into the engine. They wanted to kind of keep some colder air coming in. And then in the early 2000s, they changed to this kind of an intake manifold. Now, this still
what the hell is that?
Well, this still
looks like some sort of a gun.
Yeah, well, it's still dumped over to the a port in the fender to draw the air in. But you see all those weird little tubes and chambers. Those weird little tubes and chambers were designed to to eliminate the harmonic noise, the droning noise that could be created by an air intake tube. We were talking off the air before about how when we were kids, you just flip the air cleaner on your carburetor and you'd hear that noise. Well, manufacturers didn't want that noise. So they put all these extra tubes and chambers.
We want the noise
to kind of counterphase that noise, right? And then you talked about your Corvette. Next one is an air box that again takes air from the fender and dumps it into a cold air box. That's an aftermarket air box. And then the Corvette would pull air from in front of the radiator, again looking for an area that the air wasn't already heated, because hot air has a negative impact on performance. Cold air is more dense and has more oxygen in it, hence cold air intakes.
Mm-hmm. Very cool.
Yeah,
but the horsepower increases were relatively minuscule. People that advertise, we can get you 15 horsepower with a cold air intake. Put it on a dyno. I don't think that
I always had a fascination and love for the look of the cowl induction from Chevrolet with the little flap up on the hood.
Well, and that's like I showed you on the Oldsmobile, that little flap is under the hood. With that little flap, they were taking the air from that high pressure area right at the base of the windshield and the hood. And that's why that cowl induction flap would open up. When that would open up, that would push air into the air cleaner.
That's great stuff. You didn't talk about the air filters.
No.
And the K&N, I've discovered, has less restriction than, say, for instance, a Fram filter that you would get at Walmart.
Yeah, and that's I'll do that next week. That measures the micron of what allows the air to go through. The problem with that is the larger the micron, the more debris can get through.
Yeah,
So the way K&N gets around it is their filters have an oil on them. But we'll talk about that next week.
Okay, let's do it next week. One thing that I did want to mention before we go to break, an EV adoption increase. As EV adoption increases, J.D. Power says industry leaders should be concerned. Satisfaction with public charging during the first half of the year fell to its lowest level recorded in J.D. Power studies. And as electric vehicle adoption increases, industry leaders should be concerned, according to the research firm. Most consumers who are reluctant to buy an EV worry that public chargers are not available. Poor charger performance could be another hindrance, according to Brent Gruber, executive director of the EV practice at J.D. Power. Automakers and public charging stakeholders such as network operators and charger manufacturers should improve the charging experience before it becomes a runaway train, according to Gruber, and he was speaking with Automotive News. Charging satisfaction at both Level 2 chargers and Level 3 chargers declined in nearly every category of the 2023 U.S. Electric Vehicle Experience Public Charging Study released Wednesday. Satisfaction with Level 2 declined an average of 617 points on a 1,000-point scale, 16 points lower than a year ago. Level 3 chargers sunk 20 points to an average
Wow.
of 654. Tesla was the only company to score above average. Study was fielded in collaboration with PlugShare, an EV driver app maker and research firm. More than 15,000 owners of battery electric vehicles and plug-in hybrid electric vehicles participated from January through June of this year.
PlugShare, isn't that where Joe Biden went to get more hair?
That's good. I like that.
Plugs.
I got it. PlugShare. We should have thought of that. Jeff. Just saying. Well, you too, Conrad. Look at you.
I know.
You got just a few wisps left.
The front is catching up with the back.
Grass does not grow on busy streets.
David, are you listening to this down here? Listen to him. Look at him. Full head of hair.
Where's your hair? You got room to talk.
Well, at least I've got some. Hey, quick break
Plugs are
now.
from the side over the middle.
You're on the In-Wheel Time Car Talk Show. We'll wrap up today's show right after this. The original group of Lupi Tortilla restaurants will have you telling your family and friends just what the original recipes mean when it comes to the best fajitas in Southeast Texas. Founder Stan Holt invites you to visit the original Lupi Tortilla near I-10 and Highway 6. Here's the original house that inspired the design of all the rest and the original charm that helped make Lupi Tortilla the go-to destination for Houston Tex-Mex. Speaking of original, nothing can compete with the original lime pepper marinade that everyone will agree makes Lupi Tortilla award-winning beef fajitas the best anywhere. Lupi Tortilla Katy is another location that gives you the same quality and service Houstonians have come to expect at Lupi's. It's located just off I-10 and the Grand Parkway at Kingsland Boulevard in Katy. Find yourself in Aggieland? Head to the Lupi Tortilla in College Station, located just around the corner from Kyle Field. It's a great place to enjoy those famous frozen margaritas before or after the game. Headed east to Louisiana, stop in at the Lupi Tortilla in Beaumont. It too's on I-10. You can't miss it. The original group of Lupi Tortilla restaurants invites you in for the best Tex-Mex anywhere. You own a car you love. Well, why not let Gulf Coast Auto Shield protect it? Houstonian John Gray invites you to his state-of-the-art facility to introduce you to his specialist team of auto enthusiasts. We promise you'll be impressed. Whether you're looking to massage your original paint to a like-new appearance, apply a ceramic coating, install a paint protection film, nano-ceramic window tint, or new windshield protection called ExoShield, Gulf Coast Auto Shield is where Houston's car people go. Curbed your wheels? Instead of buying new, why not have them repaired? How about a professionally installed radar detector? Gulf Coast Auto Shield does that too. Get a peek inside the shop and look at the services offered by getting online and heading to gcautoshield.com. Better yet, stop by their facility at 11275 South Sam Houston Tollway, just south of the Southwest Freeway, and get a personal tour. Gulf Coast Auto Shield is your place to go for all things exterior. Call them today, 832-930-5655 or gcautoshield.com. The award-winning In-Wheel Time Car Talk Show is available on the most popular podcast channels out there in 30-minute episodes. We realize our 3-hour live show can be difficult to catch in its entirety, so now you can listen every day to a convenient, fresh 30-minute episode. Check us out on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Google Podcasts, Amazon Music, and Audible, along with a dozen more. In-Wheel Time has the most informative automotive guest interviews and new car reviews, along with popular features including Conrad's Car Clinic and This Week in Auto History, along with automotive news headlines. Our live broadcast airs every Saturday, 8 to 11 Central on InWheelTime.com, the iHeart app, and on YouTube. Be sure to say hello when we're broadcasting from the Tailpipes and Tacos Cruise Inn, Autorama, and the Houston Auto Show, among others. Now, it's easier than ever to hear about all things automotive all week long. You're invited to join fellow car enthusiasts in becoming part of the ever-growing In Wheel Time Car Talk family. Don't forget those 30-minute podcast episodes on your favorite podcast channel. That's the checkered flag for this week's In Wheel Time Car Talk Show. When you're online, follow us on Facebook if you would. Give us a like, tell your friends about us, and share our junk if you would, please. We promise to keep you posted on all things automotive all week long, including new car reviews, upcoming events, cruise-ins, racing events, car, truck, SUV goodies, all of that and more. We promise, though, not to load up your feed. Hey, you can find us, the In Wheel Time Car Talk Show, 24/7 on the iHeartRadio app, and our live stream, our video stream on Facebook, YouTube, and on InWheelTime.com. Every Saturday, 8 to 11 o'clock Central Time. Daily 30-minute podcasts available on your podcast channel that you use. The In Wheel Time Chief Engineer is David Ainsley. Our Marketing Advertising Advisor and Video Technical Director is We Need More, Jeff Zekin. For Booking Agent and Zoom Master, Mike Mars. Mr. Know-It-All, his royalty, King Conrad DeLong. I'm Don Armstrong. Please join us for our next show, another award-winning production of the In Wheel Time Car Talk Show, Saturday, August 26th, 2023, on all of our In Wheel Time Car Talk outlets right here on the Smoke and Mirrors Network, 8 to 11 a.m. Central Time. Have a great weekend, stay cool, and we'll see you then. Yes, it is the In Wheel Time Car Talk Show. Coming up, Keith Barry, Consumer Reports. We're going to talk about EV road trips.
All right.
That's kind of scary to me, but we're going to do it anyway. Conrad has This Week in Auto History.
Comes with a real long extension cord.
And we'll get you caught up on the stories making car news this week. Howdy, along with Mike Out of This World Mars, Mr. Zoom. That's a new name for you, Zoomy. Zoomy Mars.
Call him MZ.
MZ. King Conrad DeLong is here with us. We need more Jeff Zekin, as always. I'm Don Armstrong. Glad you could join. No, I'm sorry. I'm George Goebel.
George Goebel.
Glad you could join us this Saturday morning for our live version. And every Saturday, it's usually live, almost all the time. It's not dead yet.
99%.
Yeah. The next couple of weeks is not going to be. I'm going on vacation.
Yeah.
I'm going to be joining David Ainsley in the UP of Michigan.
Yeah. You're going to be a Youper.
I'm going to be a Youper.
I pee, you pee, we all pee.
And then we're gonna fly into the Chippewa International Intergalactic Airport.
Boy, and are your arms tired?
Yeah. But so we're going to fly in up there on next Saturday, Sunday.
We? Taking Leslie with you?
I am.
And she's getting off the new job so quickly.
Well, she's not on the new job.
Oh.
That doesn't start till next month.
Why does he need to know all this?
I know. I don't understand.
Because he's writing a book.
I want to live
you a lawyer?
vicariously through Don.
When was the last time you took a vacation?
November last year.
Yeah.
I stayed a little long.
I was going to say, how'd that work out for you? Not too well.
Yeah, like a turd in a punch bowl.
So, at any rate, it looks as though, Mr. Mars, that I see somebody from Consumer Reports kind of peeping around the corner there.
Peeping around.
Is he there?
We've got no audio yet.
Oh, we've got no audio yet. So they're working on audio. But at any rate, so we are going to talk to Keith Barry here in just a moment once Mr. Mars gets us all lined up. Is EV right for your next road trip? Because you know that there are people out there that have purchased an EV here in the past 9 months or so, and they want to go visit Aunt Mary in Wisconsin. Well, think about that for a minute.
It's a long drive and a lot of charging.
Yes. It's a 1,200-mile trip to Wisconsin.
There's a reason those EVs tell you where the charging stations are.
And we're going to talk about that. And we're going to talk about many things. We have many questions.
Talk about Aunt Mary?
No, Aunt Mary has passed away, unfortunately, but
Then why go visit her?
Okay. I have no idea. Just keep going.
here, you know what I can do?
Oh, good job.
Let's see. Turn him off. No, I'm just teasing. But at any rate, they have surveyed over 2,000 Americans. The survey was conducted from April. 30% of the respondents said they would definitely or seriously consider buying or leasing an EV. But 61% of respondents said that charging logistics is holding them back, while 54% cited the number of miles an EV can go before it needs to be recharged as the reason they aren't going electric yet.
Yeah.
What do you think? Would you? I mean, if I had an EV, I just spent, let's just say $50,000 on an EV, a nice one, okay, because you can get them a lot cheaper these days. And they claim that you could get 300 miles on a charge. Well, okay, you can get 300 miles on a charge from my experience if you go about 30 miles an hour and don't feather the throttle, don't do anything, put it on cruise control.
Turn
and
the AC off, roll the windows down.
pretty much.
Well, you know, we talked about that last night. And we talked about Kylie, my granddaughter, license. And I'm thinking one of the lesser EVs, lesser so far as mileage that you go, would be good for a first-time driver, back and forth to school. In my opinion, maybe a weekend dance.
And how
or-
much were you planning on spending?
Well, depending on what a lower end is in the market, but I'm thinking that would be a good start.
Lower to mid 30s, I think. Is
Yeah.
probably
Okay,
about-
so-
So
something like that,
I got
high 20s.
I got $30,000 to spend. That's the top of my budget. And I could probably go find an EV or a partial EV, a plug-in hybrid, something.
Mhm.
Am I going to do that? Or am I going to go buy an ICE engine, internal combustion engine, put it
and
under the
invite all
hood,
his friends over for a margarita.
and then we are pretty much only limited by the gas
The
stations.
distance.
The gas stations, the distance between gas stations, because I can always pull into a gas station and fill up the tank and have a full tank. And if you get really good gas mileage, you could probably go 500 miles if you get 30, 40 miles to the gallon, which you can in some internal
Plus, you can
combustion
stop
engines.
and refill anywhere in about 15 minutes.
5, because generally those cars have a small tank to begin with.
True.
So all I can think of is that I got 30 grand to spend. Am I going to spend it on electric? It's going to limit me, and I got to stop and charge it for 30 minutes at least.
Well, I think the genius hotel chain that comes up with, hey, stay with us and free charging stations, and they're frequent enough around, I think those are the people who are going to make the market.
The two hotels that aren't far from here, they have charging stations. The new there's a new Hampton, I think, that they just built recently, and then the other one down just another quarter mile away. They've got I don't know if they're Teslas, but they just got the hookups for it, for the electric. They're in the back of the hotel.
Nice
So
and safe
that
back
is-
there in the back of the hotel.
Well, it's not where you've got all your handicap in the front and under the entrance and all that. They're pushed a little bit further back. So, but to answer your question, I think a lesser value EV, lesser mileage would be for a younger
Let
person.
me tell you something. Based on my
Urban.
experience with a new driver, I'm going to go buy a $3,000 car that probably has, I don't know, 150,000 miles on it. That, generally speaking, is a good car. It's reliable, dependable, and you've got all the proof in the pudding because they've been building the same car forever and ever, got all the bugs worked out of it, all the recalls have been taken care of. Okay, so it's got a little door ding in it, a little whiskey bump here and there. That's okay. There you go.
Mhm.
If you want a nicer car, here's a
Get a job.
Here's a can of polish.
Mhm.
Here's a wash bucket. Get out there and make it look as good as it can. What's wrong with that?
Well, the first thing I bought Rochelle was a full-size pickup truck. And then the first thing we bought Austin was actually the Yukon.
With no
I'm still
5 mile an
driving.
hour bumpers on it, so you just barely touch anything with the bumpers and it crushes the front end of it.
Or the other vehicle. Yeah.
She's been very good in not having those issues.
That's good. Could you move your microphone a little bit closer? You know,
Is that close enough?
would you? How's your slapping hand doing?
Not as good as Kathy's.
All right, then we need Kathy to come here.
Yeah, exactly. But there are lots of challenges. Mr. Mars, how are you doing over there? Apparently, he's not doing too well. Everything was going well, but now it's not.
That's it's a connection to Connecticut.
Is that what it is? All right.
Yeah,
Well,
George says he's got a friend has a Tesla 3 and he had to stop twice going between Temple and Houston, and the car overheated in this ambient temperature, and it
Yeah.
said bring to the service station,
to the Tesla service
to
station.
this Tesla repair facility.
There's a Tesla facility at just 59, just before 36 on the west side, left of the freeway.
Yeah, there's a Tesla repair place up at Rankin Road and 45.
Yes.
It's a nice building.
But that's interesting that so I know that they have coolant in them, a special kind of coolant to keep the batteries and all of the electrical stuff cool, which doesn't make a whole lot of sense to me because I was always told to keep water and things liquid away from that.
Well, this is again. It's basically a radiator for the batteries because they want to keep the battery temperatures down so that they don't get a thermal runaway.
That's not good because usually that winds up with the fire department having to come on the side of the road to put
Multiple times because they're very hard to put out.
Yes, exactly.
Foam.
So, at any rate, as we continue to work on our interview here, I'm just going to go down the list here of the notes that we have. Consumer Reports tips for EV road trippers. Plan your route.
Mhm.
And all I can think of is well, yeah, you've got a computer in there, great big one that really does good GPS. Plan your route. But you have to plan it with EV charging stations on the
way,
route.
right?
So forget that off-roading stuff that goes back off into the woods and, like you would normally go to grandmother's house and enjoy the scenery because you ain't going to get it charged out there. Unless,
Granny's got a good generator.
exactly. Another point is download apps for the major charging networks. EVgo, ChargePoint, Electrify America, Volta, Amp Up, and others. Those are available on your phone, and you can link your phone to your car. So those are some tips. Before we get to our guest this hour, it's only taken 10 minutes to get him all hooked
ready?
up here. You ready there, Mr. Mars?
Believe so.
All right. Keith Berry, hello, good morning. And it's kind of like you being in line to get a charge at the EV charging station. Here you are.
Finally.
Yes, I am here, and it works. Which, but after some hiccups, and the way I tend to view where we're at right now with charging infrastructure is that 10 years ago I had a landline. I don't have a landline anymore. And 10, 15, 20 years ago, we're not in the bag phone days anymore of EVs. We're probably in the Nokia days of EVs, the early iPhone days.
Or the dial-up AOL.
Yeah, no. We're well, Mom, don't pick up the phone. I'm on. No, don't. We're not in that world anymore.
But look behind you. You got a compact 186 computer behind you.
It's an Apple IIc. Actually.
Well, there you go.
Yeah, so we're in the kind of, and I do it. There actually is a landline there, but it's not hooked up to anything. So we're in that kind of world right now where people are, figuring out, what's going to work for this, what's going to work for that. And we're finding that it's obviously it's different in Texas, but average nationwide, that the average road trip is about 284 miles each way, and that's the average summer road trip. And most people don't put a full EV range on a car. So for the everyday drive, most people plug in at home and they charge at home. But we're starting to see, what we're really starting to get questions from is these we're starting to see these rentals now. Hertz is now renting Teslas, and has Tom Brady up there, and I'm from New England, so I've got feelings about that. But but aside from that, people are for the first time, I think, when we've got sort of these cars with ranges more than 80 miles or so. These are cars that can do 99% of what folks want to do on a daily basis. But like you said, if you're driving from Texas to Minnesota, it's going to be a very different experience.
Yeah, and because first of all, we know that the car that's rated for 300 miles of battery life before you have to plug it in ain't really 300 miles. It's somewhat less than that.
Particularly if I'm driving.
And if Mike Mars, Mr. Leadfoot over here, is driving it, it's going to be a lot less than 300 miles. So we have to stop along the way as we head north, and we're going to go up I-45 here in Houston, and we're going to go to Dallas. We're going to go through Dallas to head up north. And once we get to Dallas, well, we're
Hopefully
hoping
Buc-ee's has a charging station.
we're hoping that we can make it to Dallas on one single charge, because Dallas is about, depending on where you're going from, is about 250 miles. But that's going to be stretching it a lot. And my heart...
And that last 10 miles, you're panic struck.
Yes, there's a lot of puckering going on there. So we have to do some planning. And what I was reading before we got on the air with you, your press release on this subject, and that is that there's some apps that you can use, but for the most part, don't most electric vehicles have a built-in kind of system that tells you where the next charging station is?
Oh, absolutely. Only a handful don't. And most of them, the nice thing about them is that they are tied into the vehicle. So it can know exactly what the vehicle state of charge is. It can know exactly what's best for the battery, where to plug it in. So it kind of tells you what to do. You're not going to want to take on a charge when the battery's at 80% state of charge, because it's going to take forever to get to that last 100%. So it's going to let you kind of dip down a bit and then bring you back up again. And a lot of these will also, they've got these fancy algorithms that will figure out just, to minimize the amount of time that you spend waiting at a charger. The problem is what we're hearing is that sometimes, it'll show that a charger in your infotainment system, in your navigation, and you'll get there. And especially if you're not driving a Tesla, it might not be working, or someone might have their truck parked across it, or it might be behind a locked gate or in a closed parking garage and the hours haven't been updated. So that's kind of that, that's where we're at, that sort of early cell phone landline level right now when it comes to the charging infrastructure.
Or it's at the dealership and you have to talk to a salesperson while your car is charging.
Exactly. Or that's not our brand of car. You can't charge that here. So yeah, absolutely. So and we found that even in the Northeast, where there's a little more density of chargers here, that every so often just something will go wrong, and that's not gonna that's not going to work if you're counting on it,
And the Northeast is such a welcoming personality to people when you step on their property to do something they don't want you to do.
Well, yeah, a lot of these are in highway rest areas, and you've got 5 people lining up for the same thing, and you have to, who is there first? Yeah.
And that's another thing. Let's talk about the time it takes to get that 80% charge when you've only got 5% left, and you have to stop at this particular place and then wait for 30 minutes to get, hopefully, an 80% charge on it. And you're not the only one. And, there are people in line to get that. I mean, how frustrating is that? When was the last time you had a line at the gas station? The 70s? At least here in Texas, that's usually not a problem because it's a gas station on every corner.
Yeah. Now, I mean, the good news is that we're getting cars with 800 volt architectures, and they can add 150 miles in a few minutes. And I don't know about you, but I gotta use the facilities every so often, about every 300 miles or so, anyways, while driving. So you can kind of dovetail those two together. But at the same time, yeah, it is a difference. I mean, the road trip, I think for a lot of Americans, a lot of people sort of anecdotally that we're speaking to, there's a hybrid and there's an EV, and the EV is great for 99%. But when you got to go to grandma's house or aunt so-and-so's house or whoever's house, you've got that other vehicle that you can take. So, it isn't in that fully road trip sense. And back to that metaphor again, you'd have your cell phone for most of your calls, and then you'd have your landline for when you want to make that 45-minute phone call.
When you guys did the American Experiences survey, what really stood out in this survey of over 2,000 people that when it comes to charging electric vehicles and electric vehicles in general? What'd you find out?
Yeah, two things really stood out was just how different the experience is for Tesla drivers versus non-Tesla drivers. We found that, that supercharger network, they were early, they got really good locations, and they just kind of work. It's the hardware and the software and the vehicles and the infrastructure are all designed to work together. And that's a different experience than folks who are driving and they're trying to, deal with Electrify America, EVgo. Not that any of these, nothing against any of these individual systems, but it's a lot more types of cars and it's a lot more types of chargers, and that software handshake has to take place. And they might not be right out front. They might be in the back of the shopping mall parking lot by the dumpsters where you have to plug in. And, you're in an unfamiliar area in the middle of the night, and it's sort of, where is this thing I'm looking for? There's no big, bright, lit up sign. So we're finding that even though when people buy EVs, they're thinking, oh, I'm not going to have enough charge. I'm afraid of, they've got that range anxiety. But then once they own one and drive it for a little bit, what replaces that is this idea of, well, I know I can charge at home, and that's great. And I don't have to stop at the gas station every morning. I get out, my car has a full charge. I can make it to work, no problem. But this idea of, well, I had to use a public charger this one time because I was going, on a ski trip or something, and it just didn't work. And I think that the infrastructure, and there are some big investments, public and private, being made in infrastructure right now, because automakers can't sell these cars if they don't have places to plug them in. But we're finding that there really needs to be a change around the infrastructure and beefing it up and making sure that there is a place that you can plug in while you're on the road.
Speaking of plugging in, what do you think about, have you got any information or feedback yet on this obvious move that all the manufacturers are moving over to the Tesla charge plug?
Yeah, I mean, right now it is a bit of a wait and see because, we're hearing 2024. We tested out, there are a couple of stations in sort of mid-state New York that we drove out to test out some sort of pilot stations that had this magic dock where you could plug in a non-Tesla vehicle at a supercharger. The main obstacles we found were that just the way that the cord length was, they're all designed to fit to a Tesla. So if you have something where your charge port is in the back of the vehicle or it's on the other side, you might not be able to fit in the parking space the right way to fit the cord. And that's something, it's like the littlest, it's like, why didn't we standardize what side the gas tank was on way back, or at least make pumps that could go over to both sides, which I know are becoming more common now. But the 16-foot cable might not work in a couple of situations, depending upon how they're set up. So if these things are physically set up for Teslas, the hardware might work, the software might work, the charging is totally fine, it's great, the location's great. But if you can't park your car there, it's kind of the basic issue. So it's really kind of a wait and see.
Well, I have to tell you, I experienced that when I had the Kia EV6 a couple of weeks ago, and the charge port there at my work, it was only a 110 outlet to begin with. Tesla was right next to it. But I thought, well, I'm going to be here for 8 hours. We'll just stick it on there, the 110 outlet. Mm-hmm. Well, guess what? The charge port was at the back on the right rear of the EV.
Yeah.
And so I have to maneuver into an angled parking place, but I have to back into it, which is, a 2 or 3 move. Have to
get situated.
Get it in there between the parking lines. And it was kind of a pain, but I managed to do it. And then once I got in there, it was made for, obviously, something to pull into this thing and plug it in the front. So I had to stretch the cord all the way around the back to get it to work. So I understand completely what you're saying. So as far as these I don't want to call them fly-by-night, but these charging stations, I have a card for EVgo because that's what the Whole Foods down the street from me. And it seemed to work just fine, except I didn't update the credit card on that account, so I had to wind up calling them and say, here's my new credit card. Oh, okay, we got all the information. Let me go ahead and turn the pump, if you will, on for you. And boom, then I had it. But it was another 10-minute delay to get the right credit card married to the EVgo card that starts the system.
And it was only good at that for EVgo.
Correct. Only good at EVgo because it wouldn't take a credit card. So there's another hassle with it. You can't put in a credit card like you would at the gas station. Thought that was kind of odd.
Yeah, and that's one of the reasons why people tell us they love that supercharger network. You set it up one time, and that kind of handshake takes place when you plug in the vehicle. It's actually easier than a gas station and having to put in your credit card. But you're right. This stuff has to be foolproof, and it isn't yet. And I mean, even things like accessibility. If you don't have the sort of the mobility to kind of these cords are heavy to drag this thing around the vehicle. There aren't full service pumps where you can, honk your horn and someone will come out and help you.
Right.
So, I mean, that's another issue. Even just even accessibility around these things that you're kind of on your own. But these are early days, and we haven't even settled on a standard for a charge port yet. That the NACS versus the CCS there, but it does look like that access to that network is something that other automakers are realizing we absolutely need.
Keith, where can we find the Consumer Reports EV Road Trips login?
You can find that at cr.org, and that article is free. And we also have a whole hub of information for EV owners, for EV interested folks, for hybrid interested folks, for anyone who wants to learn more. We've got information for you.
Well, we sure appreciate it, and it's great to talk to you. As always, we love talking to Consumer Reports. Great information, and we wish you the best of luck and hope to talk to you again very soon.
Same. Thanks so much.
Thank you.
Thanks,
Keith Berry with Consumer Reports. We were going to do This Week in Auto History, but we don't have enough time for that because we had to run him a little bit too long to be able to get him in because I wanted to talk to him. But we're going to do the This Week in Auto History in our next half hour. Is that okay?
Mm-hmm. Yep.
You don't mind, do you?
Flexible.
Okay, thank you. Appreciate that.
You want to see my flexibility?
Yes, I do want to see that.
No, I just...
VW is going to use a small fleet of specially equipped Eurospec ID Buzz minivans to provide ride-hailing services to a closed group in a geo-fenced portion of Austin, Texas, beginning this month.
So Buzz needs to move to Austin.
Using Mobileye technology. Ultimately, the company plans to expand to other U.S. cities and serve the general public by 2026. In Austin, the company will initially use short wheelbase versions of the ID Buzz electric minivan imported from Europe. For the testing program, they'll be equipped with Mobileye technology stack. Later, the company plans to transition to similarly equipped long wheelbase versions of the ID Buzz, like those that will go on sale next year here in North America. Well, time now for a quick break. We'll be right back on the In Wheel Time Car Talk Show. Stay with us.
You own a car you love.
Well, why not let Gulf Coast Auto Shield protect it? Houstonian John Gray invites you to his state-of-the-art facility to introduce you to his specialist team of auto enthusiasts. We promise you'll be impressed. Whether you're looking to massage your original paint to a like-new appearance, apply a ceramic coating, install a paint protection film, nano-ceramic window tint, or new windshield protection called ExoShield, Gulf Coast Auto Shield is where Houston's car people go. Curbed your wheels? Instead of buying new, why not have them repaired? How about a professionally installed radar detector? Gulf Coast Auto Shield does that too. Get a peek inside the shop and look at the services offered by getting online and heading to gcautoshield.com. Better yet, stop by their facility at 11275 South Sam Houston Tollway, just south of the Southwest Freeway, and get a personal tour. Gulf Coast Auto Shield is your place to go for all things exterior. Call them today, 832-930-5655 or gcautoshield.com. The original group of Lupi Tortilla restaurants will have you telling your family and friends just what the original recipes mean when it comes to the best fajitas in Southeast Texas. Founder Stan Holt invites you to visit the original Lupi Tortilla near I-10 and Highway 6. Here's the original house that inspired the design of all the rest and the original charm that helped make Lupi Tortilla the go-to destination for Houston Tex-Mex. Speaking of original, nothing can compete with the original lime pepper marinade that everyone will agree makes Lupi Tortilla award-winning beef fajitas the best anywhere. Lupi Tortilla Katy is another location that gives you the same quality and service Houstonians have come to expect at Lupi's. It's located just off I-10 and the Grand Parkway at Kingsland Boulevard in Katy. Find yourself in Aggieland? Head to the Lupi Tortilla in College Station, located just around the corner from Kyle Field. It's a great place to enjoy those famous frozen margaritas before or after the game. Headed east to Louisiana, stop in at the Lupi Tortilla in Beaumont. It too's on I-10. You can't miss it. The original group of Lupi Tortilla restaurants invites you in for the best Tex-Mex anywhere. The In Wheel Time Car Talk Show is now part of the iHeart family. Now you'll have access to 24/7 Car Talk anytime you need a fix. Just download the iHeart Radio app and ask for In Wheel Time Car Talk, and there we are. Be sure to save us in your iHeart library for instant access. No matter where you are, you have the best Car Talk Show right on your PC, laptop, or mobile device and never have to worry about finding us again. Of course, you can always get access to our video and audio streams via InWheelTime.com and your favorite podcast channel, and all of this is free to you. From the iHeart Radio app, you'll not only hear our Saturday morning live show, but the best shows of the past, updated weekly. Never miss a minute of up-to-date new car reviews, pre-owned reviews, Conrad's Car Clinic, informative interviews, automotive news, and the most fun car talk show on the planet. Just download the iHeart Radio app, search for In Wheel Time Car Talk, save it to your library, and with a tap of the icon, you'll be in touch with your favorite Car Talk team. In Wheel Time Car Talk, streaming now on iHeart.com/In Wheel Time Car Talk. Time now for this hour's car review. I drove the 2023 Jeep Gladiator. You know anything about the Gladiator?
They fought a real good war.
Not that Gladiator, but they got some really cute dresses for those boys.
I'm telling you.
Available trim levels on the Gladiator: the Sport, the Overland, the Rubicon, and the Mojave. I had the Mojave 4x4. This is considered a standard pickup truck. Now, you'd swear up and down that what they did was they took a Jeep Wrangler and they took the back end off of it and they put a bed back there. No.
Not true.
That's not true. This is a purpose-built truck, okay?
And very few parts are interchangeable as far as the body goes.
Yes, that was.
I don't think anything's really interchangeable.
Well, some are and some aren't, but that's beside the point. You can take the doors off of it. You can put the windshield down on it. You can take the top off. Comes with a couple of top options. What all that? Kind of like a Wrangler in that aspect. Seats 5 people, including the driver. No real changes from last year. I think it was new in 2021. Exterior features: has a 5-foot bed on it, which is standard on all of the different trim levels. Looks like a Wrangler with a bed added behind the cab. A 1-inch lift is different on this one for the front suspension because this is a Mojave.
Yeah.
It's got the squared off upright stance. It's beefy off-road seriousness. It's not for wimps. And a reason that I say that is because this is not a Wrangler per se. This is a serious off-road pickup truck. I don't think that anything could keep up with this as far as its off-road ability, other than another Jeep-based Wrangler. Trail rated. And it rides that way. It doesn't ride, it doesn't steer like a regular pickup truck. This is an off-road vehicle. Mojave has a different trim than others. I mentioned the 1-inch lift on it. Comfortable seating with Mojave stitched on the seat backs. Easy to use infotainment system on it. It's the Uconnect system that works extremely well. This really is the Swiss Army knife of buttons and switches. Because remember, this is also not weatherproof, but weather
resistant.
That's a good word to use for it. Yeah, weather resistant. So, like for instance, the window switches to roll the windows down, they're up on the dashboard and not in the
door panel.
Not on the door panel. What I liked about it, storage nooks everywhere, including under the rear seat, kind of like a pickup truck. Weatherproof, as I said, weather resistant interior. Now, it has a 3.6 liter V6 in it. A diesel is available, but that's a different animal altogether. This V6, I think, is going to be traded out for a inline 6 soon.
More torque.
If I'm not mistaken. Right now, 255 horsepower, 260 pound-feet of torque through an 8-speed automatic transmission, which is really plenty for this thing. 17 miles per gallon city, 22 highway for a combined of 19. I got 16.3 miles per gallon over 276 miles. Why so few, Don? I don't know. I would imagine it's the gearing, because gearing in the rear end can change depending on what you order, and the trim level. Maybe that had something to do with it. I really didn't delve into all of that. This is a solid V6. What could use improvement? Perhaps a turbocharged 4-cylinder? Don't know, just saying.
Well, they offer it in some other lines. I don't know if they do in the Gladiator.
No,
I know
they
they
do
do in
not.
the Wrangler.
No. But like I said, the diesel is available. Ride and handling, this is a serious off-roader, fun and well-mannered on the pavement, but it is not a car. What could use improvement? The Mojave has a different transfer case to run at higher speeds. Did you know that, Mars? You didn't even research that, did you, when you had it? You didn't.
No.
Did you have the Mojave?
It didn't get there because they went through a construction zone, took out the windshield. So it showed up yesterday. So I haven't really had a chance to drive it yet.
Well, it has a different transfer case to run at higher speeds. So there you have it.
Interesting. I'll have to watch.
Base price on the Jeep Gladiator is $50,995. Price as tested with all the options is $67,000. The base model price for a Gladiator, $38,775. Okay? It's expensive, but remember, it is an off-road vehicle, and I can't underscore that enough. They look cool, but they are serious business underneath there. Competitors, well, there really isn't one, but we put it in the mid-sized truck category, and when you do that, you got the Chevy Colorado that starts at $29,200. The Toyota Tacoma, that's $28,580, and the Ford Ranger for $29,585, because you can get those in four-wheel drive. But I'm just saying, this is not that.
Four-wheel drive doesn't necessarily mean off-road.
If I'm a farmer and I'm living in the hill country and I want to go check the back 40, this would be the vehicle for me.
Farmer Don.
Can you imagine such a thing?
Growing weed in Oklahoma.
Holy comes up with some stuff.
Time now for this hour's car review. Had a chance to drive the 2024 Subaru Crosstrek, which is basically a small crossover because it's based on the Impreza. Okay? It's an Impreza on steroids, let's put it that way. Available trim levels are base, premium, sport, limited, And there's going to be another one called Wilderness coming this fall. The reviewed trim level is the Limited, which right now is the top of the line. This is a small SUV. It seats 5 people, including the driver. Exterior changes, complete redesign for 2024. This is the 3rd generation. I did not realize that. Exterior features, small, edgy design with high-mounted headlights. And I say an edgy design on a Subaru? What? You got to be kidding me. Yeah, it is. Forward-tilting black wheel opening accents. Yellow highlights on black trim works well. That's in the upper trim levels. Has trim-specific wheels as well. What I liked about it, I liked those yellow accents on this particular trim level. What could use improvement? There's a big question mark I have here. I don't know. Interior highlights, great dash design with integrated infotainment screen, touch screen. Cloth seating has a unique pattern that fits with its off-road vibe. Well-placed controls and user-friendly center console. Fold flat second row has a rugged off-road look when you fold it down. So the interior is all rubberized with a covering over it.
So you can get it dirty.
Yeah, you can get it dirty. What I liked
Getting
about
dirty with Don.
the cargo trunk room, well, it's small, but it is adequate back there. What I liked, the thoughtful, cleaner interior. Because so many of these SUVs that try to pretend to be off-road really are not. They're just gussied up to be. This one is.
It's got good-looking seats. Look like they're pretty comfortable.
A standard engine in this is a 2-liter flat 4 with 152 horsepower. Now, this particular trim level had a 2.5-liter Boxer engine, flat 4, horizontally opposed, 182 horsepower, 178 pound-feet of torque. The transmission is a CVT with, it feels like it has 8 speeds in
Shift
it.
points.
Mm-hmm, shift points. Then it works very well, and it feels good. All-wheel drive is standard on most Subarus. Not all, but most. And this particular one is all-wheel drive as well. 26 miles per gallon city. And rated for 33 on the highway for a combined of 29. I got 29.7 miles per gallon over 343.6 miles. What I liked about it? Love that 2.5 liter. Plenty of power. Powered perfectly for the size and weight of this vehicle. It's a small vehicle, and it works well. It gets great gas mileage, too. Ride and handling, it's got a new steering system on it that's taken from the WRX, which is their performance model.
Hot rod.
Yep, and it works well. What I liked about it is smooth on-road handling and dampening and off-road capability. It's awesome. What could use improvement? Nothing. I think they nailed it with this one. You haven't driven it yet, have you?
No, not yet.
Oh, you're going to love this. Base trim price, $30,895. Prices tested, $34,635. The base
Nice.
model price, $24,995.
Good price range.
Yes, very much so. Competitors, I had to really work to find competitors to this because there really isn't one. Not with the Boxer engine, not with anything about it.
All the package together.
All of it packaged together. Honda HR-V comes close at $27,495. Kia Seltos at $29,990, and the Buick Encore for $26,800. But that really doesn't compare.
No.
But in size and price, it does kind of. But I would encourage you to go and take a look at the Subaru Crosstrek because I really did like it. All right. The N-Wheel Time Car Talk Show is available 24/7 through the iHeartRadio app. Just look for N-Wheel Time Car Talk. We also video stream on Facebook. All right, time now for this hour's car review. Mr. Mars had a chance to drive the 24 model Subaru Impreza.
Yes, sir. And
Now, this is our first review of a 2024 model car. We're not even halfway
think you're
through.
right.
We're not even halfway through 23 yet.
No, we're
Typically,
not.
the next year models would come out in October.
Right.
But not anymore.
But you know, my wife's Kia, when we bought it, it was instead of coming out in October, we got it in June as the next model year.
Well, that's because you're connected.
Well, no, that's just because Kia is one of those people, they bring them out early, like Subaru is starting to do. You know, they don't live with the fall thing anymore, which I wish they did. It'd be more fun. But we are talking about the 2024 Subaru Impreza. Now, this is the RS. It comes in 3 trim levels now. They've dropped the sedan. They dropped the sedan, and it's a hatchback only. You can get it in the base, the sport, or the RS as the top trim level, and we did have the RS as the new trim. It's an all-wheel drive vehicle, compact hatchback, weighs in at 3,323 pounds. And I say that because some of the vehicles we've been talking about lately are up in that 4,000 pound range, and so it's a little bit lighter than some of them. So it's all been redesigned for 2024. Up front, you're going to find, because it's the RS, it's got the black frameless hexagonal grille. Side spoilers, side mirrors are all blacked out. It's got the compact headlights with a black trim around it. Got body color door handles, which I really like those because they kind of blend in almost like it's shaved, like a custom car would be.
We like it shaved.
Yes, we do. And it's got the LED lighting. The headlights are the steering responsive type headlights that'll follow you around a little bit. We've got fog lights, tail lights, side marker lights, all LEDs. Got the sound insulating windshield, which really contributes a lot in this vehicle to how quiet it is on the inside. Got a lot of RS badging on it. Comes with some 18-inch sport wheels that are blacked out. And it's got a power moonroof. Now, some of this is strictly specific to the RS trim level. Get on the inside of it, and again, we've got some RS package features on it. It has the black cloth seats with the red bolsters on it. Got gunmetal and carbon fiber trim pieces scattered around as part of the RS. It's got a new 11.6-inch screen sitting in the center of the dash, so it's where you're going to find all your convenience controls, your nav, all your things like that you're looking for. And it works pretty good. I was kind of impressed at how responsive it was to looking around and searching for things. Comes with a 60/40 folding rear seat. Had the optional 10-speaker Harman Kardon audio system with 432 watt.
How did Jimmy Buffett sound?
Everything sounds good when you crank it up. And like I say, it's surprisingly quiet for a compact car. And you know, because you know you're in a smaller vehicle, but it's got room from a driver's seat. It's got plenty of room. Now, under the hood, exclusive to the RS, is the 2.5-liter Boxer with a direct injection on it, 182 horsepower, 178 pound-feet of torque.
Four-cylinder?
Four-cylinder. CVT transmission. Now, I think it could use a little more juice, personally. I think a turbo would be great on this thing. Something that give it a little bit more because of the way it drives and handles. It's got a 10% stiffer chassis on it in 2024, so it is firm, but from a driver's perspective, it kind of gives you a little more of that sports car feel, sports car handling. It's a fun little car to drive, but it could have used a little more juice, in my opinion. EPA says you should be looking for 26 miles per gallon in the city, 33 on the highway, 29 combined. Now, I did get 28 across 471 miles that I drove this vehicle. I drove it a lot. I like to drive in this little car. The base trim price on this is $28,975. The as tested price is $31,045. Had a couple of $1,000s worth of options in it. If you're looking for something to compare it to, a Honda Civic hatchback. Now, this is a 23. Haven't got a price on the 24 yet, but it's $24,750. A 23 Mazda 3 hatchback is $23,550. A base model prices, and you look at the base model price on the Impreza at $24,085, and they're all right there in combined is that compact hatch group of vehicles. And I think that they work really well personally because the hatch in it is smaller, but you got easy access to the back. You got a lot more room than you would have if you had a trunk back there. So I like this vehicle, and for the price of $31,045, I think it's something you need to look at.
And Subaru too has an extremely loyal customer base.
They
Not
do,
only that, but a
very
safety record
reliable,
too.
Safety
The
record.
safety
Very good
record,
safety
yeah.
record.
Yeah, one of my daughters asked me about that. She said, "Isn't that supposed to be a real safety car?" And yes, it is. And it's all-wheel drive.
All Subarus are.
Yes.
And
So
yes.
there's
I
a
think
lot
they're
to
all
it.
CVT as well.
Well, I had a Subaru last week, and I will tell you, I was thoroughly impressed. And I haven't had a Subaru in quite some time. But boy, they have stepped up their game.
They really have.
What a great riding car. Just right on the horsepower. It's not going to win any races at the drag strip, but that's not what it's made
designed for
for.
that.
No. It was a cute, really nice, small SUV. I'll tell you all about it next week, but I was thoroughly impressed.
Yeah, that's the way this one was. And the other reason I think that it needs a little more juice personally is because the RS trim makes you feel like it's more of a sports car. And it's got plenty of power. Don't get me wrong. It'll go down the freeway at 80 miles an hour without even thinking about it. It's just in riding around
You
the
breaking the
Mars
law?
wasn't thinking about it.
You're breaking the law in that car?
never. I'm just saying it could do that.
But
if it wanted to.
Subaru has had a turbocharged 4-cylinder in the past, but I don't think they have it anymore, do they?
I don't know where it would be. I don't get that many Subarus, so I'm not.
I don't either.
familiar.
I don't think they offer the turbo anymore.
And if you buy a Subaru, they make a donation to the animal shelter.
Yeah.
Yep.
Are they making the WRX?
Yes, they still make that. And some of the suspension components off of the WRX is into this RS package. You know, I didn't want to get quite into that far into the weeds, but there are some components to it, which contributes to that driver experience. And that's my thoughts on the Subaru Impreza RS.
Okay. Time now for this hour's car review. And this is the vehicle that the Zekins and I went to the Granbury Remote a couple
this
of
thing's
weeks
awesome.
ago.
It's huge.
It's the 2024 GMC Sierra 2500. Here are the trim levels. It's available in the Pro, which is basically the work truck, the SLE, the SLT, the AT4, and the Denali. What did I have? The Denali
Nice.
Ultimate 4-wheel drive diesel. It's
Thing's
like
awesome.
a freight train.
It is.
It's like a locomotive.
Oh, yeah.
What size and what class?
Big.
Great big 3/4 ton pick 'em up truck. I don't know how else to put that.
Ginormous.
Seats 5, including the driver. Exterior changes from last model year, introduced in 2020. Of course, you know they do tweaks every model year, and I didn't drill it down that deeply, but it's big.
You didn't tweak it?
I didn't. Exterior features, huge. The top of the hood, standing next to it, the top of the hood is at my chin. I'm 6'1". Do the math. This thing is that big. That's just the top of the hood. The hood is almost 6 feet off the ground. Unbelievable. Massive grille. It changes character with the trim level.
But it's got a sturdy truck look to it.
Oh,
so
my God.
Some of the trucks don't have the
Sturdy
truck look
isn't the
anymore.
word.
Yeah.
It's massive.
It is massive. Black plastic wheel opening moldings on this that really kind of highlights the wheel openings, unless, of course, you get a black truck. Who would do that?
Yeah.
Get the multi-use tailgate. This one came with that.
It's nice.
That multi-use tailgate is the bomb, I'm telling you. What I liked, its largeness. Is largeness a word?
It is now.
It is. Well, we just coined that phrase. This thing,
I've heard it before.
you saw it. You saw it out there.
Oh, yeah.
Oh my God, it's big. What could use improvement? Okay. How about the performance look with the gasoline motor? Because that's an option, the gasoline motor. I don't know. What could use improvement on something like this? It is a purpose-built 3/4 ton massive hauler, either in
But
the
with
bed
a-
or tow behind.
With an ultimate luxury package.
Correct.
That's
interior
part of
true.
Denali
Yeah.
and
well, let's
the
just
Ultimate.
talk
It's
about
very
that
soft.
as a matter of fact. The interior highlights: dash looks like a 747 control panel with attractive stitching on the dash pad itself, on the Denali, which is what I had. Stop yawning. Wood trim highlights on the Denali. Functional infotainment system that's easy to use, and it's got a nice big screen in it too. Surround cameras help when maneuvering in tight spots. And let me tell you something. It doesn't make any difference what size the parking spot. It's going to take up all of it and more.
It did.
It will not fit in a regular parking space. Side to side, yeah. Barely.
But lengthwise,
So lengthwise,
So you're not going to put it in your garage.
not in a normal
absolutely
Unless you got
not.
a garage that can fit it.
2 bed lengths are available: the 6 foot and 6 foot 8 inches, or the 8 foot 1 inch. I think this one had the 8 foot 1 inch.
It was
This
huge.
is massive. What I liked about it, its hugeness. What could use improvement? I think a dump truck bed option would be good.
Oh,
What do you? Don't laugh.
on a Denali.
Yeah, on a Denali. I got to go deliver some rocks over there in Vider. So I'm gonna take my dump truck part of it. Anyway,
you better call Mike.
this had a 6.6 liter turbo diesel with 445 horsepower and 910 pound-feet of torque.
It's a monster.
But it is not the top of the class when it comes to just that
Power.
power.
Yep.
I think that there is a nice compromise between the Chevy and others like it, because the Chevy doesn't go crazy
Or
with it.
GMC.
I'm sorry, GMC. It's no difference.
There is to the people who were
I know.
selling
It
them.
goes down the same dang assembly line.
Yes, they do.
Okay. Tow rating, 18,500 pounds. Can you say house behind you?
Mm-hmm.
Haul rating, 3,579 pounds. Now, miles per gallon is not rated by the EPA.
So that'll haul a lot of donkey.
A lot of donkey.
A lot of
a
big
lot
donkey.
of donkeys.
A lot of big donkey.
hmm
Monty.
Monty, the singing donkey. 3/4 ton is not rated by the EPA. What did I get? With its 36-gallon fuel tank, I got 15.3 miles per gallon, over 793.5 miles to Granbury and back, plus work miles on the tollway.
That's pretty good for a monster truck.
It is. It truly is. What I liked about the engine package, holy power is what I put down here.
No, I love the D-Max. The Duramax is such a well thought out diesel engine as it applies to an automotive sized truck.
Ride and handling, better than expected for a 3/4 ton, but it is stiff with no load in it. If I would have put 1,000 pounds worth of cement bags in the back of it, I think it would have tamed that down a little bit.
Yeah,
but
probably.
I didn't, because this is built to haul stuff. So you're going to have a suspension that isn't quite
Designed for the
pliable.
hauling. Yeah.
Let me put it that way. What could use improvement? Why not? Are we keeping you awake this morning?
No, I'm just waiting for the
Important
exciting
stuff.
part.
Thank you. What could use improvement? How about an adjustable suspension? They've got airbag suspensions on big dump trucks. Why not put one on this?
Well, I think they do on the half ton with the magnetic ride control, but I don't
but
think
it's still got a spring.
yeah. But I
Yeah,
don't think you can
but
get
it-
magnetic ride control on the 3/4.
I'm
No,
not
because
talking
it
about-
won't carry the load.
But a bagged suspension will. Because they make bag suspensions for those great big humongous trailer trucks with it, the haul rocks and
and
stuff.
some of
bags
the
is-
guys that are pushing up, the 20 and 24-inch lifts on the 3/4 ton trucks, they're using airbags in that
So
suspension
maybe it's
kit.
something for GM to consider.
And what about the dually? The dually has it. or does
the
it?
dually I think
The
is
shoes
way
in
over,
Granbury.
the dually is way overrated, I believe.
I got it.
I got it too.
Because it really doesn't add that much to its capability.
Well, dually is functional for a certain level of towing. That's what you need because you need
The
that
fifth wheel.
traction and the ability to carry that weight on the bed of the vehicle.
In the fifth wheel option.
Okay, here we go. So the base trim price
Oh, here we go.
is $91,900
for the Denali.
for the Denali.
Base.
Price is tested $94,835. Now you can get into a 3/4 ton for $46,600. That's not with the diesel though. $46,600. Now here are the competitors. The Ford 3/4 ton, $43,035. The Ram is $49,000 and the Chevy is $46,900. And I'd like to thank General Motors and GMC for letting us take it to Granbury, which was a 575-mile round trip. So that's my review of the 2024 GMC Sierra 2500. The NWL Time Car Talk Show is available 24/7 through the iHeartRadio app. Just look for NWL Time Car Talk. We also video stream on Facebook, YouTube, and NWLTime.com. And podcasts are at your fingertips on over a dozen of the most popular podcast outlets. The NWL Time Car Talk Show continues after this quick break. You own a car you love. Well, why not let Gulf Coast Auto Shield protect it? Houstonian John Gray invites you to his state-of-the-art facility to introduce you to his specialist team of auto enthusiasts. We promise you'll be impressed. Whether you're looking to massage your original paint to a like-new appearance, apply a ceramic coating, install a paint protection film, nano-ceramic window tint, or new windshield protection called ExoShield, Gulf Coast Auto Shield is where Houston's car people go. Curbed your wheels? Instead of buying new, why not have them repaired? How about a professionally installed radar detector? Gulf Coast Auto Shield does that too. Get a peek inside the shop and look at the services offered by getting online and heading to gcautoshield.com. Better yet, stop by their facility at 11275 South Sam Houston Tollway, just south of the Southwest Freeway, and get a personal tour. Gulf Coast Auto Shield is your place to go for all things exterior. Call them today, 832-930-5655 or gcautoshield.com. The original group of Lupi Tortilla restaurants will have you telling your family and friends just what the original recipes mean when it comes to the best fajitas in Southeast Texas. Founder Stan Holt invites you to visit the original Lupi Tortilla near I-10 and Highway 6. Here's the original house that inspired the design of all the rest and the original charm that helped make Lupi Tortilla the go-to destination for Houston Tex-Mex. Speaking of original, nothing can compete with the original lime pepper marinade that everyone will agree makes Lupi Tortilla award-winning beef fajitas the best anywhere. Lupi Tortilla Katy is another location that gives you the same quality and service Houstonians have come to expect at Lupi's. It's located just off I-10 and the Grand Parkway at Kingsland Boulevard in Katy. Find yourself in Aggieland? Head to the Lupi Tortilla in College Station, located just around the corner from Kyle Field. It's a great place to enjoy those famous frozen margaritas before or after the game. Headed east to Louisiana, stop in at the Lupi Tortilla in Beaumont. It too's on I-10. You can't miss it. The original group of Lupi Tortilla restaurants invites you in for the best Tex-Mex anywhere. The In-Wheel Time Car Talk Show is now part of the iHeart family. Now you'll have access to 24/7 Car Talk anytime you need a fix. Just download the iHeart Radio app and ask for In-Wheel Time Car Talk, and there we are. Be sure to save us in your iHeart library for instant access. No matter where you are, you have the best Car Talk Show right on your PC, laptop, or mobile device and never have to worry about finding us again. Of course, you can always get access to our video and audio streams via InWheelTime.com and your favorite podcast channel, and all of this is free to you. From the iHeart Radio app, you'll not only hear our Saturday morning live show, but the best shows of the past, updated weekly. Never miss a minute of up-to-date new car reviews, pre-owned reviews, Conrad's Car Clinic, informative interviews, automotive news, and the most fun car talk show on the planet. Just download the iHeart Radio app, search for In-Wheel Time Car Talk, save it to your library, and with a tap of the icon, you'll be in touch with your favorite Car Talk team. In-Wheel Time Car Talk, streaming now on iHeart.com/In-Wheel Time Car Talk. It's your go-to place for entertaining car talk, the 2023 In-Wheel Time Car Talk Show. Coming up, the Grand Poobah from the Hot Rod Tour of Texas, Mr. Bobby Sparkman. Jeff has a feature on the top 6 most intriguing international police cars.
I am the international correspondent for In-Wheel Time.
Yes, you are, and for Formula One correspondent, too. Later, we'll have the stories making automotive news headlines, along with Conrad's Car Clinic. It's all straight ahead on this edition of the In-Wheel Time Car Talk Show. Howdy, along with Mike Out of This World Mars, King Conrad DeLong, we need more Jeff Zekin. I'm Don Armstrong. I'm Nod Nordsma, and you're not. Thank you for joining us.
Welcome back, Facebook listeners.
Yeah.
Crank that up, Don.
No, what did you do over there?
Nothing.
Didn't do nothing.
Yeah, he did. He put the microphone up to his mouth.
Oh.
Yeah.
Rather than his ear?
Yeah, I know. Rather, yeah. But anyway, are we ready?
I think so. We've got Kate with us, and we've got Bobby is on his right ear.
There you go. I've got him. I've got him up.
They need to rotate their phone.
Yeah.
I'll rotate the phone.
Either that or we'll talk
There
to
we
Kate.
go.
She's
That
prettier
works
anyway.
better.
There you go.
That's a beautiful.
If you could hit it on landscape, it'd work a lot better too.
Yeah, landscape.
But we're not going to be picky.
Make me a sandwich.
You doing a landscape?
Are you in the kitchen?
It looks like he's in a pickup truck.
Yeah.
We're in Jeremy's F100 at Cars and Coffee here in Victoria, Texas.
Do you ever stop doing the car thing?
Never. It's nonstop.
Yeah. Do you get anything done around the house, like cut the grass and
Wash the dishes?
wash the dishes, or whatever it is that you do around there?
Absolutely not.
Well, at least he's up front about it.
He is that. Well, Bobby Sparkman is the face of the Hot Rod Tour of Texas, and gosh, it's been a while since we talked to you, and I know that things have progressed, changed, and grown since the last time that we talked to you over the Hot Rod Tour that happened last April, and here we go again. Coming up in April, we've got part 2. Of the Hot Rod Tour of Texas. And I was talking to Jeff earlier before we started the show today about the number of people that have joined the growing Facebook crowd of the Hot Rod Tour of Texas Facebook page. And I assume that the majority of those people have joined not just to join another Facebook page, but to actually participate in the Hot Rod Tour of Texas.
Absolutely. We stream pretty heavily on that page, and majority of those people are either car owners, racers, or very serious enthusiasts. They're not just somebody just searching the page and just goofing off, seeing what's happening. Most of them are car owners, business owners, something in the automotive industry.
Well,
we want to thank you guys, because I think when we did last year's tour, we were up to about 1,000 members or something like that. And with you guys' help and others like yourself and Kate and others, that page has really blown up, really getting the word out, which is important.
Well, it is, and I have to admit that I'm proud to be a member of the Hot Rod Tour of Texas. One of the, I wouldn't say a founding member, but a founding participant. How's that?
There you go.
Absolutely.
Don's OG.
Yeah.
Old guy.
Yeah, old guy.
We were just talking yesterday about seeing that Corvette passing us up. Where were we at?
Purgatory Road.
We were on Purgatory Road. And that white bullet that just passed by. A little bit up the road, we see Don out there taking pictures as we're driving by. It's like, that's Don.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, that was a great video that I cherish. I'll have to tell you that, because I mean, here we are. A whole line of cars that just kept on coming past, honking the horn, waving, revving the motors, doing car things that we like to do. Mm-hmm. What was that one city that we went through last year that had the fire trucks out, and all of the people from the whole town showed up downtown to watch us go through? That was the most fun.
That was Yoakum, Texas.
Yoakum.
The chief of police that kind of coordinated that for us.
How nice was that?
I'll tell you what, man, that was so much fun, and it looked like the people were having a ton of fun watching us go through town.
Absolutely, a lot of school kids out, and the fire truck with the flag out. It was really a welcoming experience.
Okay, so let's talk about 2023. What do we have? Do we have the route set yet?
2023 is an exciting year. We're doing some of the same and a little different this year. I'll share a tidbit. We discussed it last night with our crew, and we're not going to spill the beans on all of it. Where would the fun in that be? But we're going to depart Victoria. We're going to have a big kickoff party on April 27th on a Thursday night here in Victoria again. Same location, same venue, same party band, the Crowbars. They have stepped up and said absolutely they want to be a part of it every year. Aerocrafters as well. fantastic venue. I don't think Don. I don't think you got to make that, but it is a fantastic outdoor.
No, I was there. I was there. I said hello to your wife, who was trying to get names taken down, and everybody registered that had registered, and it was kind of chaotic. But I will say this: that you guys handled it very well.
We did. It was a lot busier than we expected it to be, but we're prepared for that. We had some meetings yesterday to be prepared for that this year. But yeah, it was a fantastic time.
Well, one of the things that I learned at that opening night is you better get there early if you want to have a parking spot.
Yes, and if you want to get a good outdoor table or outdoor seat around the stage area, that area fills up really, really fast at that venue, and they can hold a lot of people.
And Don crashed a party. You crashed some folks, didn't you?
Actually, I did. I was sitting there by myself, and there was a bunch sitting at another table. I said, you guys part of this deal? Oh, yeah. And that was your Diesel friends from the Dallas area.
Oh, yeah. Black Smoke Garage.
Yeah, Black Smoke Garage. And so I buddied up with them through the whole thing. And, yeah, they took me under their wing because I was solo at that time, and not.
Don's planning on putting a 12-valve Cummins in his Corvette.
I was thinking the same thing. He's getting rolling coal.
Yeah,
C5.
Do it.
Yeah, well, that's not going to happen. So I can promise you that right now. Okay, so
they've done a 12 valve in Jonas's old Chevrolet AD pickup. They've done one in a newer model Tahoe. They've done one in a Ford pickup. They love those diesels and compound turbos.
Coming out of it.
Well, I have to ask you, I know that I checked on your Facebook page this morning, and you posted a bunch of hotels that you've got lined up. Is that just there in Victoria?
That's Victoria. We're the others are coming.
Okay. All right.
And the Victoria hotels, the information I got was from our tourism group, and they got it late Friday, and they haven't even informed their hotels. A couple of people were trying to book hotels, and it's like, hey, they don't even know about it yet. So my tourism director contacted them, and they said, hey, we haven't even told our people yet. Give us till Monday. You're like really on top of it. So appreciate the folks trying to go ahead and get those rooms, and we got really, really fantastic, great rates. The lowest, pretty much, we've gotten the lowest. Our tourism director got the lowest rates with Explore Victoria that pretty much any event Victoria's ever got. So fantastic support here in Victoria.
Who is this pretty girl that we're looking at the bottom of our Zoom's feed this morning?
I'll let her.
Hey, I'm in place of Morgan Cook. He was the host on this show last year, but I'm his wife, Kate Cook. And I own Asphalt Canvas Custom Art, and I'm doing the T-shirt design for the Hot Rod Tour of Texas. And we drive the '64 Dodge Polara that looks like a race car.
Oh yeah,
like roof on it, and the '64 on the side.
I do remember the car. Yes, absolutely, fun car. There's no doubt about that. So
Kate,
Kate
also did the artwork she also did the artwork for the shirts in 2022, which is fantastic. We love it. Everybody loves that design. Yeah.
Well, I've got to have. I'm not a hat guy, but I definitely need a couple of shirts. So I know that you guys are they for sale and ready to go now?
Not yet. We just discussed the artwork yesterday that I was almost going to reveal. Oh, the Kate's going to reveal it. Go ahead, Kate.
Well, we missed it. Do it again.
I didn't want to reveal it
you guys
without you.
can see it on there.
Well, it's a little difficult to see, but we'll take your word for it.
Okay, yeah.
Go ahead and post it on the Facebook page.
Okay, I will. It's
really, really cool, folks. You guys are going to really like it. And the shirts are going to be the same material as 2022. They're breathable. They're not the typical hot car show T-shirts. They're really nice shirts.
Very good. Now, so are you going to drive the police car again?
I'm going to drive the police car again.
I like it. Yeah, I mean, did the police ever pull you over and say
Edsel police car?
Yeah, I know. Do you ever get pulled over and going, "Hey, man, not in
the Edsel, but in my 1928 Model A with the bomb on the back, we call the F-bomb. We get pulled over and it's usually ex-Air Force guys want to take pictures with it.
I got you. Well, it's tons of fun, and the whole thing is just a lot of fun, and I've talked it up all year long. I will say that last year that was the highlight of my car year, if you will. And I had so much fun and really enjoyed it, and looking forward to this year.
Fantastic.
Yeah, and so the kickoff is going to be Thursday, April the 27th, there in Victoria, and
At
so
7 p.m.
I'm sorry. Go ahead.
At 7 p.m.
7 p.m. Yep. Yeah,
Give everybody a little more time to get to Victoria and get checked in their hotels and clean up and all that kind of stuff.
Yep. Yeah. No. Yeah.
Aircraft are great food, so you can come and eat, enjoy the music. It's just gonna be a great time.
Yeah. And then the initial call up for the following morning is what time?
We will meet up about 8 a.m. at Velocity Power Sports on Navarro Street.
Same location.
As last year.
Yep. And I assume that the entire Victoria Police Department will be out like they were last year to help get us out of the parking lot.
Absolutely. We've got that coordinated yesterday. We met with them and their hospitality has just been fantastic. And I didn't even know we had that many police in Victoria when we departed last year, but we have a lot of police in our city.
Yeah. And hopefully this is the only time that you'll have to really deal with them.
After we departed, most of them were texting me saying, "Hey, next year we're riding in the back of that police car."
That's just great. All right, so is there a registration fee?
There will be a registration fee that will be released the middle of January, and we're doing it a little here. Instead of breaking it down into each individual stops, it'll be a 1 mil ticket. Basically, you register for all entries to everything. The only additional fee at that point will, if you want to go race at Little River, we're going to make a stop at Little River, the Dragway again, by popular demand.
Big hit.
If you want to race there, there will be a fee that you'll pay directly to Little River. But everything else will be done by a one-ticket meal deal and a armband. Make it simple.
Yeah, I was just going to say that's great. And so you haven't really announced the stops or the cities that you're going to go through just yet.
We're gonna release some information for you guys because you guys have been such a big supporter. This has not been released anywhere to anyone. It's literally Kate just found out last night. We have really been holding it back for the podcast and for folks that have supported us. We really want to give back and draw some listeners to you guys. So
and the artwork.
and the artwork. Yes. The artwork's going to be so amazing. Kate did something really cool that I asked her to do, and I didn't think she was going to pull it off, but she pulled it off. She pulled it off in an amazing way.
Thank you, guys.
We're gonna our first stop. I'll go ahead and release something for you guys. Our first stop is a local distillery that we picked up here in Seguin. They're out of Seguin, Texas, and the owner he tried last year everything he could do to get us to come. And it's like, man, we just don't have time. There's so many stops that we'd like to make. We just don't have enough time to do all of them. So as soon as the tour was over, he kept up with us. He watched all the videos, all the photos. He's like, I want to be a part of it. I want to be a part of it next year. So we got him on board pretty early on. And they're a CY distillery, local family-owned distillery. They raise their own corn. They make 6 different types of liquor. They make vodka. They make bourbon. They make cinnamon one. It's kind of like Fireball, but it's not Fireball. They make a Kahlua type of liquor, but it's all done locally and very, very cool stuff. Very, very high end stuff. And I'll share with you. He just purchased what year? 59 long bed 4-wheel drive F100. He flies out Wednesday to Ventura, California, and he's going to drive it back. And he's going to join us on the tour with that truck.
That's cool.
Wow.
Wow.
Super cool.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah. Does it have an LS in it or something?
What's that?
No, does it have an LS in it or something?
No, it's stock Y block.
Yep. 292.
Are we still doing the award for like the longest distance?
We are. We're gonna do some giveaways and stuff. It's gonna be cool. We've got at CY. They're gonna do wine tasting, liquor tasting there. He's setting up a really cool place for us where you can pull your vehicle up and take photos with the distillery behind your vehicle. Real cool photo op. It's just going to be a really, really neat stop. He's going to have a couple of food trailers set up there for us. Really, really going to be cool. Super nice guy. I think everybody's really going to enjoy that stop. It's a good, what is it, about an hour, 45-minute drive probably?
Yeah.
About 45 minutes after we leave Victoria, so it'll be a good stopping point. People can check out their cars, do a last-minute check before we run again. From there, I kind of can't tell you where we're going, what we're doing, but we will be going into our first overnight stay, which will be in the Bronxville.
Yep. And at the popular drive-in theater.
Well, that'll be our second overnight stay. The first one will be in Victoria. The second one will be in the Bronxville.
What movie is playing?
Can't tell you.
Teaser.
Yeah.
Teaser. It will have cars in it.
Hollywood Nights.
Oh gosh.
Very possible. Very possible.
Oh, you're killing me.
Just made Don's day if it is. Just the thought of it. He's
I
already
do not
drooling.
know what you just did.
Please don't, because
no.
Don will get up on stage dressed in character
And
say all of the lines
Yeah,
for all the
he will.
characters.
Lawrence of Arabia.
See there?
He
See
went
what
to
you
fight the
did?
Turkish.
That's it. I'm not going.
So, who all is invited to go?
We're limiting the vehicle passes to 300 passes. As many passengers as you can stuff in your car, but we're limiting the vehicle passes to 3. And that was from a lot of feedback. A lot of the changes we made have came from attendees from 2022 and a lot of attendees from other tours that have done these tours that said 300 was perfect. Don't get bigger.
Yep.
And we're not doing this for the money. So we can limit it to 300 and manage it and everybody have fun and everybody knows each other personally. And it made it a little more intimate, knowing each other.
When does registration open?
Registration will open is tentative right now for January 12th. I will slip that out.
It's next
That has
week.
not been released yet, but right now everything's set already to be released on January 12th. I just haven't published it yet.
Okay.
At 8 a.m. I'll even give you that.
Ooh.
Those first 300 tickets are going to go really quickly, we think.
Yeah. Well, I promise you that. Is it okay if I buy about 100 of them and scalp them?
There's a limited number you can purchase.
For you, but everybody else can buy.
Yeah, everybody else can buy. Well, I figure everybody else is scalping tickets these days.
Yeah,
I might as well
that's
get in
true.
on that.
Yeah,
Ticketmaster and hammer him with all the fees.
With all the fees, that's right. The special Don Armstrong fee is half the price.
I'm going to fly down on Southwest to Victoria.
Yeah, with baggage checked through. Well, I'll tell you what, man, I really am looking forward to it. I've taken days off, and from your suggestion, I am going to spend the night at wherever the final destination is, and go for the party that you have at the end of the tour. And I've set aside Monday to drive back.
Well, Monday, I'll give you a teaser. Monday, we all kind of extended it last year, and we went to the Magnolia Silo. We took the wives to the Magnolia Silos. We went to SoCal Waco, the Dr. Pepper Museum. So we made an extra day out of it outside of the tour, and we're going to do the same thing this year. So as we're doing the tour, anybody that's interested in extending it a little bit, you're more than welcome to tag along with us.
So it's an after-hours tour.
Oh, yeah.
Yep.
So
after the official tour.
Does Don need to bring a wife?
Oh, jeez.
He can bring whatever he wants.
Don't say that.
Oh, gosh. Yeah, you don't want to say that with me.
Yeah, he's got an inflatable for the high-capacity planes that he uses. So that's what he says he uses it for.
And Kate has a sip of coffee as she's listening to that, going, I don't want to be involved in this anymore.
It. She's not doing shirts.
I don't know if you guys remember last year, Kate was the pregnant one.
Yep.
Kate,
Yes, very, very pregnant. We stopped every 15 minutes at gas station restrooms. It was tough.
You were the one that made everybody stop. She pulled in, then everybody followed her.
Followers.
There you go.
I don't remember where this little place was, but it was in the middle of the nowhere, and we swamped this little bitty gas station and convenience store. They had one clerk in there, and we were all trying to help the clerk get everybody checked out. Here you go, right over here. Where's this?
Gotta go. Take
so much fun. Well, thank you for that. Well,
and then they went across the street to the second one.
Yeah. Well, listen, it's great to talk to you guys. Really excited about it. The Hot Rod Tour of Texas Facebook page is the place to go. Bobby Sparkman and the gang, we really appreciate you taking the time with us this morning, and we look forward to it. Let's talk one more time before the tour starts, shall we?
Absolutely. Tickets go on sale January 12th at 8 a.m. So be watching or you're going to miss them.
And will that be on your Facebook page?
Absolutely.
All right.
Absolutely.
Got it noted.
You guys take care. Thanks again, and we'll be in touch soon.
Thank you, guys.
All right,
Kate,
bye.
post that artwork so they can get a glimpse of what they're going to get to buy.
Perfect.
Yeah.
I'll do that today.
All right.
I'll do that today.
All right, very good. Thanks again. See you guys soon. How fun.
I know. It just sounds like fun.
Yeah.
The Sparkman gang. It's
Sparkman Posse.
That's it. Racing is on hold, obviously. It's January, and there's not much going on. We're going to move on now to do the top 6 most intriguing international police cars.
There you go.
And I've had a preview of this, and I will tell you that I am going, oh my gosh. Yeah. So,
well, it's today's police cars are becoming more moving fortresses on wheels. Many are big, tough-looking sport utility vehicles, push bars, front grills, kind of high-tech equipment inside. Although modern police cruisers are undoubtedly efficient, powerful, and fast, they lack the cool factor. So we're going to take a look at 6 of these. The first one is the Citroën SM Jardamir. One of the Jardam is the police. Jardamir is the car. One of the coolest looking, most exclusive Citroën cars was the gorgeous SM. It was introduced in 1970. This elegant coupe had some interesting features, and when Citroën presented it, made the competition look and feel outdated and old. The aesthetics were clearly French: hydro-pneumatic, self-leveling suspension, front-wheel drive, all those goodies. But instead of an underpowered 4-cylinder engine, it had a 2.7-liter V6 Maserati motor.
Ooh.
Yeah, it proved enough power for lively performance. The Gendarmerie chose this car because it could cruise at high speeds necessarily for catching criminals who, as we all know, the French would surrender.
Oh, brunching. Where's
Okay,
the
the next one is the AMC Javelin AMX. Today's law enforcement agencies use various vehicles in their patrol duties, but back in the day, those original muscle car police cruisers were big and slow sedans. Detroit was producing fast cars capable of achieving high speeds and outrunning the police, but the cops still used large, heavy 4-door automobiles. So, in 1971, Alabama state troopers saw the need for a fast, capable patrol car that could chase the suspects. Cars also needed a regular police component, enough space for 2 officers and their gear. After a short search, they decided to purchase the AMC Javelin AMX with a 401 V8 engine delivering 335 horsepower.
Nice.
Yep. The next one on our international list is the VW Beetle. It's the most definitive cars of the 20th century. Since over 22 million of them were sold, it's logical that people used it for numerous purposes. One of them was a police car. In Germany and many other European countries, the VW Beetle had a legitimate patrol car for many years.
I like the color scheme.
Yeah, it's a nice, and Polizia. Pizza. It may not have won any high-speed pursuits or proven itself on the Autobahn.
Clearly not.
But for patrol work in the cities and the little hamlets and things, it was great for an urban police car. The Beetle was more than appropriate. It also had no doubt as an iconic, intriguing one. Yeah. So our next one here is the Tatra 603. The Tatra company is one of the more interesting Eastern European car companies, but most unique of the vehicles was the T603. They introduced this vehicle in 1956.
God, is that ugly.
Yeah, it featured a strange egg-shaped design that was aerodynamic. Behind the passenger compartment, there was a 2.5-liter V8 engine producing around, guess it, 100 horsepower. It was enough for respectable performance, numbers of solid cruising speeds. The Tatra T603 was a luxury car that exported limited numbers to the communist countries on selected Western markets. They produced about 20,000 of these units. It also was introduced into the Czechoslovakian market.
Looks like a cab.
Yeah, and it was a police car over there in
Sponsored by
Czechoslovakia.
V8 Juice.
V8 Juice, or no, I think it's a VB. That's
Whatever.
very, very bold.
Verboten.
There you go. Okay, so the fifth one on our list here, if I can get it going, is the Japanese police Mustang Mach 1. The Mustang entered the police forces all over America in the 80s and represented the SSP package. However, the Japanese police forces used the Mustang long before the American colleagues did. In 1973, the Mustang Mach 1 joined the Tokyo police as the speed chase car. Back in those days, most Japanese cars were compact and slow, so the mighty Mustang Mach 1 had no problems outrunning anything on the road. We chase you long time. That's what their motto was.
Is that politically correct?
I don't know, but we just used it. And last one, the crowning achievement would be the Ford Crown Victoria. The Ford Panther platform is one of the longest serving platforms in the car industry. They first used it in 1978 and served until 2011, underpinning many models like the Ford Crown Victoria, Mercury Grand Marquis, and the Lincoln Town Car.
The Marquis.
The chassis proved sturdy and durable in extreme conditions, so it was the perfect base for many police cars. The Crown Vic was the favorite of American law enforcement agencies from the 80s to recently, just not very long ago, a few years ago. So there you have it.
And remember, here in Houston, Johnny Clevenhagen, who was the sheriff at the time, was kind of one of the leaders in a cooperation with General Motors of introducing the Camaro. Police car. They also had an Oldsmobile Quad 442 as a police car, which I thought for the sheriff's department.
Thank you both. The In Wheel Time Car Talk Show is available 24/7 through the iHeartRadio app. Just look for In Wheel Time Car Talk. We also video stream on Facebook, YouTube, and InWheelTime.com. And podcasts are available at your fingertips on over a dozen of the most popular podcast outlets around. And the In Wheel Time Car Talk Show continues right after this quick break. You own a car you love. Well, why not let Gulf Coast Auto Shield protect it? Houstonian John Gray invites you to his state-of-the-art facility to introduce you to his specialist team of auto enthusiasts. We promise you'll be impressed. Whether you're looking to massage your original paint to a like-new appearance, apply a ceramic coating, install a paint protection film, nano-ceramic window tint, or new windshield protection called ExoShield, Gulf Coast Auto Shield is where Houston's car people go. Curbed your wheels? Instead of buying new, why not have them repaired? How about a professionally installed radar detector? Gulf Coast Auto Shield does that too. Get a peek inside the shop and look at the services offered by getting online and heading to gcautoshield.com. Better yet, stop by their facility at 11275 South Sam Houston Tollway, just south of the Southwest Freeway, and get a personal tour. Gulf Coast Auto Shield is your place to go for all things exterior. Call them today, 832-930-5655 or gcautoshield.com. The original group of Lupi Tortilla restaurants will have you telling your family and friends just what the original recipes mean when it comes to the best fajitas in Southeast Texas. Founder Stan Holt invites you to visit the original Lupi Tortilla near I-10 and Highway 6. Here's the original house that inspired the design of all the rest and the original charm that helped make Lupi Tortilla the go-to destination for Houston Tex-Mex. Speaking of original, nothing can compete with the original lime pepper marinade that everyone will agree makes Lupi Tortilla award-winning beef fajitas the best anywhere. Lupi Tortilla Katy is another location that gives you the same quality and service Houstonians have come to expect at Lupi's. It's located just off I-10 and the Grand Parkway at Kingsland Boulevard in Katy. Find yourself in Aggie Land? Head to the Lupi Tortilla in College Station, located just around the corner from Kyle Field. It's a great place to enjoy those famous frozen margaritas before or after the game. Headed east to Louisiana, stop in at the Lupi Tortilla in Beaumont. It too's on I-10. You can't miss it. The original group of Lupi Tortilla restaurants invites you in for the best Tex-Mex anywhere. The In Wheel Time Car Talk Show is now part of the iHeart family. Now you'll have access to 24/7 Car Talk anytime you need a fix. Just download the iHeart Radio app and ask for In Wheel Time Car Talk, and there we are. Be sure to save us in your iHeart library for instant access. No matter where you are, you have the best Car Talk Show right on your PC, laptop, or mobile device and never have to worry about finding us again. Of course, you can always get access to our video and audio streams via InWheelTime.com and your favorite podcast channel, and all of this is free to you. From the iHeart Radio app, you'll not only hear our Saturday morning live show, but the best shows of the past, updated weekly. Never miss a minute of up-to-date new car reviews, pre-owned reviews, Conrad's Car Clinic, informative interviews, automotive news, and the most fun car talk show on the planet. Just download the iHeartRadio app, search for In Wheel Time Car Talk, save it to your library, and with a tap of the icon, you'll be in touch with your favorite Car Talk team. In Wheel Time Car Talk, streaming now on iHeart.com/In Wheel Time Car Talk. It's the In Wheel Time Car Talk Show. Coming up, Randy Borcherding with Paint House. Conrad has This Week in Auto History, and we'll get you caught up on stories making car news this week. Howdy, along with Mike Out of This World Mars, King Conrad DeLong. We always need more Jeff Zeke, and I'm Don Armstrong. Glad you could join us. Let's go right away. Let's just get into it. Randy Borcherding, good morning to you. Where are your glasses? Where are your sunglasses?
Howdy, fellas. Actually, they're those transitions that go dark, and I just figured I wasn't going to wear them.
Because of that beautiful face of yours. That's it, isn't it?
Yeah, exactly. Of course.
He wanted to show off his bloodshot eyes.
Yeah, right.
Yeah, and not from booze. It's from paint. That's
Probably. Possibly.
Randy, it's good to see you, my friend, and I hope things are well out there. We won't try to keep you out in the sun too long because we wanted to talk to you about this new hauler that's behind you. And I was asking the boys before we joined you this morning, what is ATC? Is that a company?
Aluminum Trailer Company, yes.
Aluminum Trailer Company, okay.
So he's close.
You were.
I got the company part.
Yep, you got that.
Yeah. 1 out of 3 ain't bad.
And I guess before we talk about that, we need to make an apology to you.
Oh, boy.
Because apparently Mr. Mars, in his big fat thumbs, called Randy Borcherding at Penthouse. Now we know that you probably
you think you're the first.
we know that you have a past history, but we didn't know you back then. All we know is Paint House, but Mars apparently knows you from way back when.
Well, we've been friends a while. I'll just put it that
way. Good answer.
And now you're sleeping with the goat. We saw the pictures before you came on.
Good old Sticky Pages Michael.
Oh, that's it.
Yeah.
Well, I know that you've got some great news, and we want to see the ATC hauler. Now, you used to have an ATC, or at least another hauler, and you lived in it for a while.
And we did, and we loved it. And we actually would like to do it again someday. Right now, this is more of a car hauler, where that was a toy hauler, meaning it had less garage, a little more living space, where this is mainly garage with some light living space.
Yeah, kind of like one of those haulers on the drag racing tour where just the very front, 15, 20 feet is for the office, and the rest of it is the garage.
And tools.
This is even lighter than that, we'll call it. I'll just put it that way. It's meant for, I'm going to switch the camera here. Rolling down the highway, instead of getting a $200 hotel room and leaving an expensive car out in the parking lot, I can sleep in this thing and then keep going. So it's not something you'd ever live in. However, you can be comfortable enough and get up and keep rolling.
Well, and this is also a fifth wheel, so you've got to tow it with something like a truck. So what are you towing it with?
It's a gooseneck. I tow it with a F350 dually 2022. One of the interesting things I'll show you real quick while we're out here is this Gen Y hitch. I don't know if y'all seen these.
No, what is that?
It's riding on, these are torsion axle pieces with the rubber inserts, and that hitch just kind of floats on the axle. Really takes the harshness out of towing these things.
Really
comfortable.
When did they come out with that? What a great idea!
They've been out for a few years, and they do them all the way from bumper poles up to true fifth wheels. So it's a neat add-on, if you will. It's just a bolt-on thing, and I can tell you there's a difference in the ride because I've towed a lot of these boxes.
Now, your other one that you lived in, you had the big generators and all kinds of things to make it livable.
Yes, sir.
So if this one's kind of a napper or whatever you would like to call them, really
Yeah,
light,
just a overnighter, if you will.
does it have
I
those
keep
kind
it-
of things?
Well, you could. In my case, I keep a small generator in the bed of the truck, and it's enough to run the AC and the lights, and that's all you need when you're just pulling over to sleep or hang out for a night.
Okay, okay.
All right.
But
So,
you use this primarily to deliver your work to the customers, correct?
Yes, this would be for hauling cars to and from places, whether it's a show, upholstery shop, another shop. But we have a car up in Michigan that a buddy's helping us with the electrical, so getting it to and from him, that kind of thing. And it's quite a bit more mobile than the big live-in one we used to have. So you can grab it and go without having to unhitch your life, essentially.
How many feet is that thing?
This is 40.
40 foot.
We had that. Yeah, I'm going to walk you around the side here. Got 2 storage boxes up front. Nothing revolutionary there. This side entry door is really neat. I'll lift it up for you. Bear with me here while I reach out for it.
Oh, cool.
That's big too.
So it includes
Almost like a wing, if you will.
Or a slide out.
Yeah, if you notice here, the wheel well, you lift it out. This thing lifts all the way up. You've got plenty of clearance, and I'll show you here with the door.
Hey.
Did you customize this trailer just for this?
Well, this is a unit they make, and this door is nothing unique to me. They offer it in most of their trailers.
But that's cool.
There are some things inside that are custom, but this lets you get in and out of these cars that sit low. You can open the door all the way.
So you don't have to
Makes
crawl
getting-
through. Yeah, so you don't have to crawl through the window and
Yeah.
squeeze in there.
Yeah,
Yeah,
exactly.
let me crawl
I can't-
all over that paint.
Yeah.
I can't tell you how many times the door won't open because the car sits too low, and you either have to winch it in, which isn't always practical or possible. This way, you can just drive it in and get out. It's
Very
nice.
good. Very good.
Smart.
So what if the car is too low to go across the door, go across those wheels?
Then you would, hopefully, you'd be smart enough to know, and you'd winch it in, which I'll show you here in a moment where the winch is. One
Okay.
little feature I'll show you before we go in. This table you see right here
Yeah.
is one of the unique features this trailer has that they've just introduced. And it's a modular system. If you notice the rail running down the side there, that black rail,
Yep.
they've got a whole line of accessories that will install to these rails. And this table, we use it inside, outside. You wouldn't drive with it on there. You just take it off and store it. However, when we were up at Columbus this year, we always set up and have kind of like a parking lot party. And we were able to put drinks and food out, maybe beverages for adults, maybe not. And then you can just take it down, and they work on the inside as well. If you notice, there's railing running down the side.
Do you have an awning out there?
There is an awning, which my last trailer did not have, and it's really nice to have
Yeah.
a full length. I think it's 20 feet long.
Nice.
And you got lights out there. I mean, at nighttime, those lights they're like headlights. They're amazing. So in here,
you
It's a
got
box.
you got a blue GTO that I love the color.
67 GTO we built, I don't know, 8 or 10 years ago. It's a fun one. We took it up to Columbus this year. Another thing they've come up with is these modular cabinets that also work on the rail system. And you can put them wherever you want. Take them in, take them out. They're not permanent to the trailer.
So if you have a different
So
load, you can adjust all that.
Yeah, or if you're going camping, let's say you put your UTV in here and you want to haul a lot of gear, we'll put in some cabinets.
So
if you don't need them, take them out.
So did you pick this up off the lot, or did you order it custom for your needs?
We had it built. This is the first one demonstrating this new rail system, which they will have a complete line of accessories, right? Fuel can holders and tire racks and weed eater holders, whatever you're going to use the trailer for. They will make it modular to the system, including, for example, this couch. It's attached to the lower rail right over there. It lays out flat like a couch, like a bed. It sits like a couch, or it'll fold up flat against the wall and get out of the way. Or you can just take it out, which is nice. So nothing is permanent, which I can appreciate. And you got your typical up front deck area. And I put the spare up there and keep chairs and things up front.
So
one of the things I added, go ahead, I'm sorry.
No, go ahead.
I added a bathroom to this one, which if you drive as much as I do, you appreciate having your own restroom. So it's got the sink and the cabinet and water and the toilet and not a shower, but beyond that, it's nice to have my own restroom. Jen particularly appreciates that.
Yep.
Yeah, because there aren't enough Buc-ee's in this world.
Indeed, but they are going everywhere, I'll tell you. I've seen them up all the way up to Kentucky, the Kentucky Buc-ee.
So I was going to ask you, Andy. So the couch that folds out like a bed, is that your sleeping area?
I've used it that way, and I've also keep an air mattress up in the front here that I can just blow up and sleep on that.
Okay, yeah, that looked like it might be a little more comfortable if you had something up there. Is the reason I was asking, but
yeah. So it's got air conditioning. So when you pull over and you fire up the generator, you can cool the thing off and actually be comfortable in it.
And the AC is enough to cool it in 100-degree heat.
It is. It is. I keep it running out here in the driveway, and you walk in this trailer, and it's 65 degrees.
Nice. Is the trailer insulated?
It is. We ordered it that way. We've got another spare tire well here, so I keep 2 spares. I've learned the hard way. 1 spare is never enough. It's got the winch in the floor, Bluetooth controlled. You can put that door down and just have a nice flat floor, and the winch is not in the way.
Nice.
And then we put in a small refrigerator, which via an inverter, which is controlled, I think that's funny, which is controlled by the inverter panel here. And when the truck is plugged in and you're driving, that refrigerator is cooling.
Oh, okay.
And then we display our colors when we go to shows. So we made this board that mounts to the door. We can hang some of our custom colors on display. It's got a heater. What else? It's essentially it's a big white box, but it's a really, really nice big white box.
So you went to the color board there. What kind of new colors are you working on this time?
Right now, I'm working on a gold for Andy Leach up in I just went blank, Nebraska. And we're doing a 33 Pontiac that we'll do a custom gold for his project. And that's the current experiment, if you will, science experiment.
Very cool.
Yeah, you're talking about the color.
Yeah.
The color.
Well, the color grabbed my eye right away.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So the gold is not on the board. It's in the mixing room under wraps right now. I haven't figured it out yet. I'm still
top secret.
Still tweaking it.
Yeah. And is that a fluorescent orange that you've got in there?
It's kind of my version of Hugger Orange, but I put some pearl in it, so it's got a little more pop to it. It looks retro, like on a Camaro or a Pontiac, whatever that color would have been on. But yet, when you get close to it, it's got a little something extra.
We can see that something extra is popping right out of that board.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I hope you see it cleanly, because sometimes these devices don't show color very well.
What are you working on in the shop?
Oh, let's see. The current one we're almost done with is a 72 Ranchero, 351 Cleveland. We put in a 5-speed. What else did we do to it? Air, vintage air, new wiring harness, all that kind of stuff. That just kind of the standard fare in the hot rod world these days.
So
all that stuff works so well. You should do it, and it makes it more fun to drive.
A different Ranchero than what you brought to SEMA a couple of years ago?
Correct. That was a 71. The one we're doing now is a 72, and it's more of a survivor car. The paint on it's original. The stripes are still on it. It was an original 351 HO. 351, yeah. It was a Ranchero GT originally. So it was the real deal.
Do you have any competitions coming up?
Let's see. There's a show in Nashville. Bobby Alloway's putting it on. I'm trying to remember the name right now. It's the first inaugural show, and I'm going blank. But it's going to be a really neat deal. And then SEMA, of course, comes up in early November.
Are you taking something?
Is that where the Ranchero's going, to SEMA?
No, it's not really what I'd call a SEMA car. We'll just have fun and drive that one. But we are planning to take a 67 Firebird convertible. We've named it the Topless Dancer because
so Penthouse works.
Perhaps. The story behind it is when I first drove the car many years ago, the front end was so loose on it, it danced all over the road, and it's a convertible.
Makes
so when
sense.
I got back to his house, and said, I've already named your car. This thing is Topless Dancer because it dances all over the road and it's topless.
Funny.
Oh, funny.
And it will be that color blue right there. Well, actually, it's a sister car to the GTO. It's the same color as the GTO.
Oh, okay. Okay.
Maybe you'll call her the naughty little sister. I don't know, but they are owned by the same person, and he's a Pontiac guy, among other things. And they'll be matching cars.
Cool.
Nice.
So
I'm looking for it. There's the 17th BASF. No, that was May. I'm looking for that car show that you're talking about. The 2023 Triple Crown of Rotting Car Show.
Triple Crown. That's it. Triple Crown of Rotting. You got it.
Yeah, that's
It
sounds
may be
like
hot
an
out
adult
here, in case you can't
beverage.
tell.
yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's going
I
to be.
saw the trophies for that show at Advanced Plating, and they are impressive. In addition to the winners, all get, I think there's 6 custom Gibson guitars that are part of the
Very cool.
the prizes you can win. So they really put a lot of thought into it, and it's going to be a neat deal. You know, Bobby used to put on what was called Shades of the Past over in Pigeon Forge at Dollywood.
Yeah, I remember that. Never made
And
it.
it was another really fun show. I don't know if their lease ran out or what happened, but they've now moved it to Nashville, and I believe it's at the racetrack, so it'll be a nice venue.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. You don't have the air conditioner on in there, do you?
No, I don't. It was kind of noisy. So I shut it off, but now you get to see me sweat.
Yeah.
So are you going to go for the Street Rod of the Year award?
That was in Columbus 2 weeks ago, and we didn't bring a street rod, so
What it says here, Triple Crown of Rotting, September 8th and 9th, 2023 at the Nashville Super Speedway.
their street rod. Yeah, they are doing one. If we bring anything, it would fall more into the muscle car category. So hot rod, perhaps. I'm not sure what they called their awards, but I think they've divided it into trucks, street rods, and hot rods, just to kind of define the categories.
Right.
Well, good luck to you in whatever category you enter in.
By the way, how's the head of the household and the paint house garage? How is she doing?
The brains and the looks, Jen?
Yes.
She's awesome. I invited her to be on this thing, and she declined, probably because of the heat, and I don't blame her.
She's still doing her podcast?
It's on hold, but it's going to be revamped here and become an active thing pretty soon.
Well, good.
So she's going to want to interview you guys.
Well, that's fine.
Oh,
and
boy. Happy
maybe
to help.
maybe
Oh,
we're
boy.
going to do a simulcast.
Yeah.
We'll do a simulcast of that. Okay. Well, Randy, it's
That would be
always
fun.
Yeah, it will. It's always great to talk to you. Please give Jen our love, and you guys take care up there. Thanks for the tour this morning. We truly appreciate it, and congratulations on that hauler, man. That's really something.
I love that lift up side door. What a great idea that is.
Yeah, it's again, it's super useful, and I always felt like they would be a leaking point for dirt and water, but this one has not had that issue at all.
Cool.
So
very good.
All right.
Kudos to ATC. Kudos to ATC for building a great trailer, and thanks for having me.
Yep, you got it. And by the way, good luck at the Triple Crown in Nashville in September.
Thanks, man.
Go
Thank
find
you.
some air
Y'all
conditioning.
take care. Yeah, go find some AC. All right, time now for This Week in Auto History. Conrad has that.
So in this week in 1888, Philip W. Pratt demonstrated the first electric automobile in Boston. It was a tricycle powered by 6 electrical accumulator company cells. It weighed about 900 pounds. What an odd-looking duck. You got to remember, this is the generation when the bicycles had the big wheel and the little wheel.
Yeah.
And he just adapted that and put an electric motor on it. You got to remember, there is an electric Corvette. The Barbie Corvette, the 1957 pink Barbie Corvette, was the first electric Corvette in production. And they sold thousands of them.
And they're going to be making a new one called the E-Ray.
Mm-hmm. And then in 1904, this week, Dr. Herbert Hills of Flint, Michigan, purchased the first Buick automobile ever to be sold. Also in 1904 on this week, Louis Rigoli driving a 15-liter Gibron Braille on the Ostend-Newport Road in Belgium became the first man to break 100 miles an hour in that thing. Can you imagine going 100 miles an hour?
It's like a bathtub.
Looks like a soapbox derby car.
Well, it was aerodynamic for its day. But, he went over 100 miles an hour in that thing. God help him. In 1911, General Motors organized GMC truck brand to handle the sales of GM's Rapide and Reliance products. In 1934, Harold Ames patented a application for retractable headlamps. The design would later become one of the defining details of Ames' most triumphant project, the Cord 810, which to me is one of the most beautiful vehicles ever produced, was that Cord of that generation. You got to think of how creative that car was. Not only hideaway headlamps, it was front-wheel drive and had a supercharged 8-cylinder engine in it, very advanced for its day. And then again, it was designed by Gordon Bering to make a baby version of a Duesenberg car, and that's when he came up with the 810. And it was the last great offering of the Auburn Cord Duesenberg trio of manufacturing. And this vehicle was also inducted into the Museum of Modern Art, and it was chosen as one of the 8 automotive works of art. In 1935, the first automatic parking meter in the United States, the Parkometer, was invented by Carlton McGee and was installed in Oklahoma City by the Dual Parking Meter Company.
Parkometer. Or Parkometer.
Parkometer. In 1973, Bonnie and Clyde's bullet-riddled 34 Ford V8 sedan was sold at auction for $175,000 to Peter Simon of Jean, Nevada. The V8 Ford model succeeded the new Model A and was well received due to the speed and power. Perhaps is why it was seen most popular among the criminal element. But I guess now they drive a 66 Corvette. Nope, sorry. Wrong criminal element. Henry Ford first received a personal letter congratulating him on the car's performance from famed outlaw gunman John Dillinger. And I think that letter is actually displayed at Greenfield Village Museum.
Yep.
And then in 1987, Enzo Ferrari, in a ceremony commemorating the company's 40th year, unveiled the Ferrari F40 at the factory in Maranello. It had a 2.9-liter twin-turbo V8 engine under the hood, and it was Italy's first production sports car to go over 200 miles an hour. And actually, there's one of those here in Houston, owned by the president of the Houston Ferrari Club. Stunningly beautiful car, but very stark interior. Every place they could save weight, they did. So there's no carpets, there's no door panels. Everything's carbon fiber and stuff. So pretty cool car. And that is this week in automotive history.
Very good. I enjoyed that very much. All right. Want to do recalls while we've got time. BMW 740, 760, and i7 for 2023. Interaction bar malfunction.
Don't know what an
I don't have any.
is.
I don't.
It's when you run out of ice.
It's when you run out of bourbon.
You run out of something. Driver's airbag may not deploy in lots of Lexuses and Corollas. Again, safercar.gov. Type in your VIN number. It's 23 and 24 models of NX, RX, Corolla, Corolla Cross, Highlander, Tacoma, and on and on and on and on. Valve stem may be damaged on the Toyota RAV4 for 2023. If the tire goes flat, it's damaged. Mazda CX-3, Mazda 3, rear view image may not display properly. All these are recalls. Seatbelt may detach from the pretensioner anchor on the Tesla Model S and Model X, 21 to 23. Forward-facing camera is misaligned. If you're looking at the side of the car from inside on the screen, then it's misaligned. For 2023, those Tesla models, S, X, and Y.
Like we said earlier in one of the earlier interviews, there's so many cameras on today's cars. It's amazing.
Unintended acceleration on the Nissan Leaf for 2018 to 2023. There we go.
I unintended acceleration. I had met an Audi engineer. We were both working in a salvage yard together, looking at a couple of different cars. I was looking at one for a fire, and he was looking at an Audi 5000 for. He called it unintelligent acceleration.
Well, there's that.
And I couldn't stop laughing.
Loss of power steering assist in the Nissan Kicks and Versa for 2021, and the camera image may not display in the Jaguar XE, not the I-Pace.
The F-bomb?
The F-bomb. They really should name one of their cars the F-bomb. People will buy it just for that, don't you think? Federal Reserve on Wednesday increased its benchmark rate target a quarter of a point to 5.25 to 5.5%, a decision that could leave auto dealerships and customers coping with higher interest rates on auto loans. It's the highest U.S. central bank policy rate in 16 years. Thank you, Mr. President. The Federal Reserve's benchmark interest rate decisions affect the price lenders pay to borrow money, costs that might be passed on to consumers in the form of higher interest rates.
Might be, will be.
I was going to, emphasize that. Meanwhile, new vehicle interest rates rose from 4.5 in March of 22 to 7.2% in June of this year, and used vehicle APRs went from 8.1% to 11%, according to Edmunds. A new vehicle lease grew from charging the equivalent of 4.2% interest to 5.8% interest. Way to go. All right, well, that's it for this hour of the In Wheel Time Car Talk Show. Hour number 3 starts right after these brief messages on the iHeart Radio Network. You own a car you love. Well, why not let Gulf Coast Auto Shield protect it? Houstonian John Gray invites you to his state-of-the-art facility to introduce you to his specialist team of auto enthusiasts. We promise you'll be impressed. Whether you're looking to massage your original paint to a like-new appearance, apply a ceramic coating, install a paint protection film, nano-ceramic window tint, or new windshield protection called ExoShield, Gulf Coast Auto Shield is where Houston's car people go. Curbed your wheels? Instead of buying new, why not have them repaired? How about a professionally installed radar detector? Gulf Coast Auto Shield does that too. Get a peek inside the shop and look at the services offered by getting online and heading to gcautoshield.com. Better yet, stop by their facility at 11275 South Sam Houston Tollway, just south of the Southwest Freeway, and get a personal tour. Gulf Coast Auto Shield is your place to go for all things exterior. Call them today, 832-930-5655 or gcautoshield.com. The original group of Lupi Tortilla restaurants will have you telling your family and friends just what the original recipes mean when it comes to the best fajitas in Southeast Texas. Founder Stan Holt invites you to visit the original Lupi Tortilla near I-10 and Highway 6. Here's the original house that inspired the design of all the rest and the original charm that helped make Lupi Tortilla the go-to destination for Houston Tex-Mex. Speaking of original, nothing can compete with the original lime pepper marinade that everyone will agree makes Lupi Tortilla award-winning beef fajitas the best anywhere. Lupi Tortilla Katy is another location that gives you the same quality and service Houstonians have come to expect at Lupi's. It's located just off I-10 and the Grand Parkway at Kingsland Boulevard in Katy. Find yourself in Aggieland? Head to the Lupi Tortilla in College Station, located just around the corner from Kyle Field. It's a great place to enjoy those famous frozen margaritas before or after the game. Headed east to Louisiana? Stop in at the Lupi Tortilla in Beaumont. It too's on I-10. You can't miss it. The original group of Lupi Tortilla restaurants invites you in for the best Tex-Mex anywhere. The In Wheel Time Car Talk Show is now part of the iHeart family. Now you'll have access to 24/7 Car Talk anytime you need a fix. Just download the iHeart Radio app and ask for In Wheel Time Car Talk, and there we are. Be sure to save us in your iHeart library for instant access. No matter where you are, you have the best Car Talk Show right on your PC, laptop, or mobile device and never have to worry about finding us again. Of course, you can always get access to our video and audio streams via InWheelTime.com and your favorite podcast channel, and all of this is free to you. From the iHeartRadio app, you'll not only hear our Saturday morning live show, but the best shows of the past, updated weekly. Never miss a minute of up-to-date new car reviews, pre-owned reviews, Conrad's Car Clinic, informative interviews, automotive news, and the most fun car talk show on the planet. Just download the iHeartRadio app, search for In Wheel Time Car Talk, save it to your library, and with a tap of the icon, you'll be in touch with your favorite Car Talk team. In Wheel Time Car Talk, streaming now on iHeart.com/InWheelTime.